What's going on, guys? Sorry for the delay. If you're watching on Twitch, we had the port forwarding snafus of Fantasy Grounds, and in lieu of taking a million hours working through them, we jumped over to Roll20, but we are back for the next episode of A Tale of Three Dragons. Thank you guys also, Ross, Tiki, for your patience, for your time, for supporting the channel, hanging out, doing all these cool stuff, helping us do what we do. And I'm gonna evens odds here for in-character reflection for the hero point, since it's been a while. Last week, and it looks like Andrew's first, but last week, 2 weeks ago, last session, you guys, after learning that Kurotama would not help find a cure for what ails the pair of you, as well as your dead friend, you resolved to go back to the monastery. Kie remained behind after contracting some form of advanced illness, which you assume is tied to like what's going on with you guys as well. It seems to just have affected him more profoundly and quicker. You returned to the hut of the woman Oriana, who had rescued you from the hobgoblins and nursed you back to health, to find it a disheveled, disgusting, gross mess, things thrown around everywhere. She was very not forthcoming about what went down, and after enough badgering and enough, I almost said enough ratting, but that would not be nice, enough of our rat folk picking his brain a little, figuring out how things worked, and like his knowledge of how magic works in the Dragon Empires, and his knowledge of a big magic school in Tangma falling apart, he worked it out that this was one of the head master of the School of Fire had, or someone very powerful around that level, had come here and done something. You're not sure why, and Oriana did teleport away after you left her hut. And Anru, if you would give us that in-character reflection for that hero point.
Well, isn't this a situation? Should we go forward or back? Back to our roots in the, well, not really roots, but back to our home to regroup and train, further decide what we should do, or should we head off to the big unknown world? Well, I don't know what my friend wants to do, but I personally think that it's been far too short an amount of time to go back to the monastery. We should probably head out. I don't know. I'm conflicted, but I see lots of things that I could do to not better myself, but the world around me. Plus, we have things to find, people to resurrect. Onward.
And the hero point is yours, my friend, Tarask, littlest of us all.
I don't know why, but suddenly now the next person that calls me little is getting a foot up their ass. But yes, so where am I? Where? At the moment, currently not foaming out of the mouth from pure rage. It's just I'm realizing how little I know. It's frustrating. You would think all this training from the monastery and all this hard work and everything would mean that you're able to deal with some stuff out here. No, you're lucky if you're even a bit of a sneer on the wall to them. At this rate, I'm just kind of more surprised that we're even still kicking. I want to remain hopeful, but at the same time, it does seem as though we're becoming more and more of a bigger fly. Well, I doubt they even regard us as a mosquito at this point, but still. I don't know why we're seemingly in the middle of all of this, but oh well. Gotta keep going, I guess. Especially if we're gonna get our friend back. And get whatever is slowly killing us out of us.
And that you do. Alrighty, take that hero point, my friend, now. Technically, you don't have to return to the monastery. It's, to put it one way, going back to the monastery is kind of like the quest has failed sort of thing. But not in a, you would be punished, but that's essentially you would be going back to report your failures If you wanted to go somewhere else, you certainly could. You guys find yourselves outside Oriana's hut as we pick up in the middle of the Forest of Spirits.
I mean, is there anything that we can think of, perhaps, that would be another place we can look for answers or help?
You can make knowledge checks. Pretty much any knowledge check, really, to be honest with you. Because you're pinging different parts of, like, magic.
History. Oh, that's a natural one.
Off to a good start. Okay, that's what I like. That's what I like to see. Okay, so somewhere else you could go with a knowledge history check. You know that what's afflicting you is definitely a serious thing, and based on the fact that Oriana was able to just snap her fingers and poof, be gone, you imagine that there's a precedent here for, like, powerful magic to not be able to fix it. So, you... I'm trying to word it historically. 7 years ago, you find a bag of gold. No. Tempting. Precedents exist in the Dragon Empires, and truthfully all throughout Golarion, for people to be born, people to, like, live their life, and then either at birth or suddenly come down with afflictions, not unlike what you guys saw happen to Hiei. It afflicted him first, possibly because he's an Azamar, possibly because perhaps his connection to a divine entity, something like that. But you can definitely determine that this isn't just you're poisoned. This is something much more serious.
Much more serious.
Yeah, for sure. Like, as far as, like, where you could go, the monastery from where you come is not the worst place to go, for sure. It might be beyond the master's skill to take care of, but, like, records and things would exist at the monastery that you could dig through and perhaps find some kind of something somewhere to, like, get, like, a historical basis on this happens to these people. That's how they fixed it. In addition, of course, like, any major city in Golarion has some kind of archives / library / records, which you could certainly go to. The monastery by far at like a couple days journey through the Forest of Spirits, and then those farms that border Mount Kumijinja, by far closest.
So the monastery is the closest, or which one is the closest?
The monastery is definitely the closest by a lot. You guys are kind of in the middle of nowhere.
And I guess I would advise us that we go to the monastery, because it seems as though if we're going to find an answer, we're going to find any answers here, our best bet's probably just to go and find out about this whole shenanigan, this humdinger. What do you think, Nalru? Or what do you think, Nalru? I mean, I hate to go back now, especially when we're so close.
You mean Enru, but yes.
Enru, sorry.
He shows up for just a second, just long enough.
So, if you think we can gain more knowledge by going back to the monastery, then we should go there.
Another thing to point out is it's like, even if you weren't to find anything, it's the closest, and also, like, the monastery has its own, like, ports, its own, not necessarily planar travel, but, like, someone who could teleport you somewhere else. The alternative would be just, like, hoofing it for months, weeks, more like, actually, to get to, like the capital of Minkai, Kasai, for one.
So there's possible magical transport or boat transport if we head that way.
Yeah, it's just, like, it's kind of a logical first step.
Okay.
So, if you guys...
my friend...
Good.
It's like, well, my friend, why don't you, get back with Hero and let's go.
All right.
Okay, so the pair of you and Hero set out. Hero's still as fabulous as he's been this whole time.
Pair of you, Hero and Farron.
Oh yes, and Farron.
Farron.
It's a figment of your imagination. It doesn't count. It does. It counts.
Yes, he does. He's kind of his own thing now.
My imaginary friend counts a lot. Thank you very much. But
my imaginary friend can claw out someone's eyeballs. I think that counts for a whole lot more.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. That's fair. That's very fair. Okay, so it takes you guys the better part of a day to get like south through the Forest of Spirits. It's pretty quiet as you guys make your way through. Nothing, in contrast to what happened before, nothing like jumps out at you. There's no haunts that happen to like go off as you pass them. Nothing like that. Matter of fact, the Forest of Spirits itself, as like a hot zone for the kami, is unnaturally quiet, almost as if to be like somber. Everything feels really muted. Everything, like, the air tastes sad is a weird way to describe it, but you guys know what I mean. It's just like a pallor has fallen over the Forest of Spirits. You guys feel fine. There might be like bits and pieces sometimes as you two are traveling where like Tarask might get a little woozy in the saddle and have to like grab and like bear down on the saddle and to like shake it off. And it's the same story for Andrew having to stop and like blink and get her bearings and stuff. At the end of the first day, you guys come upon basically the southern end of the Forest of Spirits. You didn't notice this before, as well, of course you didn't notice this before because you were knocked out by hobgoblins. But you guys make a perception check. Nothing's for free.
Okay.
Anything you say without asking us for stuff is free.
Yeah.
Farron.
Farron's killing it. So Tarask has no idea. Tarask is very... This is probably one of those moments where Tarask's head hurts a little too much and he has to like lean into lean into Hero's neck and just kind of like bear down and hold on. But Anru definitely sees, and Farron certainly sees, you guys come upon a village. The village appears to be abandoned. Several of the buildings lie in just like great states of disrepair and disuse. Several of them have roofs and eaves and like porches and stuff caved in as if something violently would have knocked them over. Other than that, it just like peacefully sits as a part of the Forest of Spirits.
All right then.
And how far is this from the monastery?
You guys are probably about halfway there. This is like on the very, very tail end of the Forest of Spirits.
Does it look recent?
It looks like it's been this way for a while. It's hard to date it. That's how long it's been, which not necessarily like the archaeological. That's not a word. I can't talk right now. It hasn't
archaeological.
Archaeopteryx ruin. It sat for a while, but not like a bajillion years a while.
Have you been to this place before, Anru?
The only place I've been to other than the monastery in the Underdark has been the Kitsune village. And the places that we reached upon getting there. Or going there.
So this place is new to you as well?
Indeed.
Concerning. And this energy in the air.
We're still in the Forest of Spirits, right?
Yeah, you guys are.
Looking up. Are you trying to show us something, Kame?
Make a diplomacy check.
Diplomacy check?
Yeah, they are in fact listening. Nothing replies. The air still feels bad, somber. You would think after traveling in the forest for this long, also you would have seen several of the like multicolored will-o-wisp-esques that are like just like unassigned kami floating around, little like minor spirits, if you will. But you've seen nothing other than this village and trees.
I'll take that as a no. How far from the edge of the village, or not village, but forest are we?
Oh, perhaps an hour.
Well, we have our path set affront of us. This place is not technically our destination.
Hmm. Do you think perhaps it's best if we investigate, or do you think we should just continue on?
I personally say we continue on. We do not know how long it will take for the virulent, or how virulent the poison is in these wounds.
That is a fair judgment.
I say we just remember this place. We may need to speak of it to the master or return here later.
Agreed.
Onward.
Indeed.
Okay, so you guys see the outskirts of this village and you turn about and you leave. As you go to leave, it kind of like it catches your peripherals for just a second as like you turn away and go back down the path. And before your eyes, manifesting out of nowhere, is that same spirit that you guys had seen on the way to the Kitsune village. Very translucent with just a pair of white eyes that almost seem to like float in its head because the white eyes are the most opaque of this thing. You can see through the rest of it. It begins walking towards you with a pretty like balanced and even pace. It's not like aggressively chasing after you, but it's not taking its time either.
Turning back to look, are you planning to follow us?
It's much as last time. You almost feel it in your head this time as much as you hear it with your ears. It speaks in that backwards Tian that you've come to understand is its form of communication. It doesn't stop walking.
Do I not understand it still because Farron knows true speak?
Oh yes, that is a thing. Okay, so Anu is able to work it out in her head. Like, there's a little bit of like it becomes very analytical. You have to almost like move the characters on the other end to understand it. But it's just
you can see it working on my face as I'm working through the words.
Just a lot of just like I watch, I wait. And it like reaches its hand out as it says this in your directions, not Farron's, but like Anru's, and then like turns, says the same thing to Tarask, reaches out to him. Farron gets basically the same thing. It's ominous because Farron doesn't have to stop. Farron can hear it in real time. It's just, we are one. We are connected. I wait. I watch.
That's not at all delightful.
At this point, it's caught up with like Tarask and Hero. Basically, just like if there's no map of board or anything, but it's like in line with you guys.
He would have caught up with me first. Hero has a 70 movement speed. I have a 50.
Oh, fair. Okay, fine. Catches up with you first.
I would not let it touch me.
Okay. It definitely like it's reaching out, but then when it's like it gets right up to you, it puts it like almost like a handshake, right? That kind of thing. Hand reached out at you guys, but it doesn't like lean in. It's as if to wait for you to accept it.
If you do harm to me with this, I shall do harm to you. And reach out to grab the hand.
Okay. So as you say that, it doesn't respond. It looks at you, but in lieu of responding, it's almost like the same I watch, I wait, we are one on a loop. It continues to run, and as you reach out, make a will save. Okay, so Tarask watches Andrew reach out and take the hand of the spirit. And when that happens, this is when the spirit's hand like grabs on, not at your hand, but like at your wrist. And Anru can feel her vital force just being like drained away. The analogy almost is like if the spirit was a tub of water and you put your hand in and suddenly like in lieu of like unstopping a drain, just the entire tub became the drain and the water just drops out fast with you being pulled forward with it. Anru is immediately just like almost violently ill all over the place. She begins to convulse. Tarask, what do you do?
I'm just gonna like let me first roll I don't have heal. Shucks. Okay, so gosh. Upon seeing this, I'm just gonna look over to the individual and say, "What did you do?"
It doesn't reply. It seems to have lost all of its focus on everything that's not like an about to collapse, if not for the somehow weight of this incorporeal being Anru. It stopped like even the looping of its message.
Fort save, escape artist, anything?
Not yet. At this point, Anru can't react. She's too busy like violently seizing.
I'm gonna step forward.
Sure.
And I'm going to use one of my new psionic powers, Cleanse Body.
Alrighty.
Basically, that could cure ability damage, removes fatigue. I don't know if that does anything, but I will try and use that.
Makes sense. We'll say it lets Audrey make another will save. Which is considerably better. There we go. Okay, so Tarask moves forward and psionic magic. You reach out with your brain into Anru's brain, and you feel this same pull, like as if joining the conference call of being pulled into the bad times.
Yeah.
That
sounds awful.
It is awful. But fortunately, you only connect for long enough to cast the spell and like reach out and literally touch Anru. When you pull back a little too like the force of pulling yourself back mentally extends to your physical form as well, so you almost like topple back. If not for the fact that you have a tail, you probably would have just fallen just back on your back, but you are able to catch yourself, gasping and panting for breath, as shortly thereafter Anru is able to do the same. The spirit disappears. It says nothing. It reacts in no way, shape, or form to any of the events that just transpired. It just simply on the spot fades into nothingness. Both of you are, Anru obviously like worse so because she was exposed for longer, really beat up, really like physically drained from what just happened. It's hard for either of you to form super long thoughts at this point, as like your will, your like everything that makes your psyche feels like it was just pulled through a strainer. You imagine this is probably what Hiei was feeling like on a constant.
I just shake myself off a bit before looking back over at Anru. Are you alright?
I will be. The next time we come here, I shall destroy that thing.
Very well, I say. Just be cautious. It does not care for our lives.
Nor does it care for its afterlife. Let us go.
Okay. You guys resume your journey, and it's not very long before you're able to exit the Forest of Spirits, but it takes about that much time for you guys to feel like okay again, because the coming back process is pretty rough. It's a little like Anru walking is dizzy as she puts her feet down, very woozy, very like the feeling of.
Yeah, at this point, I'd probably first bow to Hero before getting up on his back, because I didn't actually want to ride with Tarask, but at this point, I probably shouldn't be walking.
That's fair. Okay. Hero didn't seem to react to the spirit at all. Just kind of, and you know Hero's a little more intelligent than the average, I almost said bear, but is a horse, is important. Hero, of course, as always, returns the bow. You clamber up, and that does make it a lot easier, though a lot of the ride is a little less of the ride, a little more just like leaning into Hero's neck. Or like,
yeah.
If Tarask is
actually...
Good.
Right, before we actually leave the forest, in Celestial, I would say, thank you for allowing us passage, Kame.
Okay. Anru would know that Senzon is the language, which is the Tian equivalent of Sylvan, is the language you would use to speak to these guys.
Well, then Sylvan would be what I'd use. Then I have it.
Okay, fair enough. Over the course of the time, as you guys like start to feel better, the forest also seems to come alive as well. The greens of the trees become considerably more saturated. The little, like, everything from the little minor spirits to, like, a full, like, Kaminari, and, like, the spirits that protect the trees and the shrines and the rivers and stuff, they definitely make their presence known. They don't say anything. The bigger ones, the stronger ones, just kind of nod as you pass by, whereas the little ones are a little more playful, as if to be considerably younger, just kind of, like, buzz up around your face, buzz around in a circle, buzz away. In some cases, maybe like a playful like boop on the nose for both of you. And it helps you to feel better when this happens. When they touch you, their energy like flows into you, and you feel a little less sick. You feel like you don't have to just tell Hero to return to the monastery and then close your eyes and hope for the best. Anyway, that hour does pass, and you guys do return. It's a little surreal. A few days have passed, but I imagine Anru and Tarask both will never forget the nights riding across the plains of northern Minkai, or running across the plains of northern Minkai, pursued eventually by, but more into, at first, hordes of hobgoblins on Izobu. You definitely passed the place where all three of you ran into just a horde of them and were dropped and fortunately saved by Oriana. At this point, all, like, memory of that... Well, not memory. All, like, evidence of that encounter having happened has faded away. Any, like, bits of arrows or weapons have been taken by either the Earth or traveling bandits from Minkai, you imagine. No Izobu tracks remain. You probably, like, psychosomatically smell Izobu when you think about it, because that's how stinky these things are. You just a little bit.
I don't think I'll ever be able to come through here without smelling that stench.
I don't think I would blame you. God,
I know
those
it's not
things
actually
were
here.
disgusting.
Oh God, yes.
Ugh. It's as if their very existence makes this earth even more of a hellhole, if that were even possible.
Well, it's not actually a hellhole out here, but any place that you're forced to stand by one of those.
Fun fact, actually, the hobgoblin and the Kanabo, the hobgoblin with like the Oni template from Distant Shores, those are both going to be races in Alien Archive 2 in Starfinder, and I'm kind of wondering if the Izobu is as well. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very
A
curious.
character race?
Yeah, like you can play a Hobgoblin and the Oni template that you saw. That's a PC race in Starfinder.
Awesome.
I'm very,
Neat.
very curious to see how the Hobgoblins work in
We need to
space.
play more Starfinder on this channel.
Dude, I agree. I really do. I want to play it more. We'll see. We'll see. For now, we're this many dragons. You guys, it's around like midday. As you get a little closer to the monastery, you'll probably have to rest at some point and then make the rest of the journey in the morning. But you begin coming upon those farmers again. There's not a whole lot of like major settlements in this part of the world. It's just much like that village you saw in the forest. 3, 4, 5, 6 at most houses in a semicircle with rice paddies all around them. The common setup usually is like a family will have children, they'll work the fields, the children will eventually come of age, and then the children marry off or do what they're going to do like family wise, and then the house is built next to the family's first house, and so these little like mini villages spring up. And the monastery, and at this point you guys definitely can see Mount Kumijinja on the horizon. Well, much closer than that, because days of travel is much better. We don't have a cart, but these guys rely on your order for protection. That's why there's no like, that's why they can live like so far away from Kasai and not have to worry about bandit problems, because really frankly bandits don't even show up out here, because when they do, people that are scarier than you will come down and order will be restored. With that said, you guys, especially the drow, probably like elves exist in Tiansha, but drow are a little more rare. So the fact that like people know who you are, because the rat folk is a little less common, or a little more common rather. So there's probably been like a couple dozen other rat folk come through the monastery, but regardless, the peasants, they don't know you by name, but they know you by affiliation, and all of them again they stop and just, oh, it's you guys, you're back. Where's your friend? Where's the pretty one? Says it's that same old Tengu woman.
Yeah, he stayed with the kitsune. He was not feeling well. Our current affliction that we are trying to fix from the... Oh, rather, you weren't there for that. We were poisoned, and he stayed with the kitsune because he is not weathering the poison that well.
The old Tengu woman looks legitimately sad. There's several other humanoids around you hear this. There's several Tengu, really. This is like... The Tengu married another Tengu, had several Tengu children, and this is like the nest, I guess. They all they assemble around you, and they put their hands together and just bow. In their native tongue, they say what you assume are like prayers to the gods and the kami for Hiei's and the pair of yours swift return. And as this happens, an older human woman comes up, and you guys recognize her as, from way back in the day, it's Riku's wife. That farmer that Kiyomi had gone into the forest to find.
Uh-oh.
She looks at you guys. She has to double take a little, because she definitely seems to recognize the Jingasa of the Fortunate Soldier that's on Hiro's head, but doesn't recognize it like magicked up for a horse, right? Eventually it definitely does click. She says nothing, but her eyes get a little wide.
I would step forward. Pardon, I do not believe we have met directly. Kiyome was friends with your spouse, I believe.
She nods.
Kiyome has fallen in battle, and your spouse also. At least we believe. I'm sorry for your loss.
she kind of just collapses in the field. There's a faint splash as her knees connect the water connect with the water of the rice paddy. Head in hands, she just begins sobbing. A couple of the Tengu wrap their arms around her. They kind of like, almost like, not to shield her from you, but they kind of just like circle around her, and they all like, because they obviously all know each other, hold on to her. Some of them begin crying as well. You assume they knew who Riku was.
Looking back to Tarask, it's always so much harder to do this when I know that my appearance brings nothing but ill tidings to begin with.
Not your fault that these people are gone. At the very least, you're trying to make sure that no more disappear.
Indeed.
The woman gets up, still pretty shaky, still crying, but like through the tears, just, you did what you could, and we appreciate it. Riku's with the gods now. We have nothing to offer you in exchange for attempting.
We seek nothing.
There's nothing for you to give, because there should be nothing given.
She just kind of like, she loses it again. One of the Tengu puts its hand on her shoulder, and like, as it convulses, and this black feathered arm bounces up and down as she like turns and starts crying, and just, well, if you're going back to the monastery, you could stay with us for the night. I could make food or something. And she like just kind of loses it again and falls back into the rest of the Tengu crying.
I appreciate your offer, but it is best that we continue on. And in your current state of loss, I do not believe it would be good for us to stay, having been the ones to deliver the ill tidings.
Okay.
I simply just kind of am nodding my head.
Alrighty. Hero, like, as all this is happening, Hero, like, leans his head down to the woman in such a way that the hat is pointed directly at her. She reaches out and touches it for a couple seconds, stops and thinks, and just, this hat saved Riku once. There were a pack of wolves. He was caught by himself, and this stopped a bite from taking out his throat, instead merely leaving a scar. I'm sure it will be good in your hands. And she pulls away from it. Hero, like, understanding a little more than he should, picks his head up majestically. The woman kind of fades back into the Tengu as they lead her back to a house that's a little bit farther away from the big, like, semicircle that you assume is theirs.
Sorry.
You're fine. So to push on to the monastery now would take you guys, you could definitely get there. It would be running through the night. In the early hours of the morning, you guys would show up. Basically like with the rising sun.
That's thematic. I'll do that.
Fair. Tarask has no objection, I assume.
Besides, the two of us both have dark vision. We actually travel better at night than we do during the day.
That you do.
Yep.
That you do. Okay. Then you guys press on. That's a pretty big distance. To use to turn a phrase, it's a country mile from each like set of houses to each set of houses to each set of houses. So it's not long before you pass people that seem to have no idea of what's transpired and just know that monks from the monastery have returned, and They all stop their work, set down their farm implements, and wave. Children come running up after Hero, who eats it up and just like majestically throws that mane back as all these kids like laugh and like play with him as he moves through. Eventually night sets, it gets pretty quiet. Yeah, frankly, with the exception of there's probably also like Wyangs and just Wyangs, just the little guys made of shadow that also have dark vision and thus would be able to still like work the fields / function as basic guardsmen, if nothing else than to like set off the alarm should bad things happen. They see you, they nod, don't really say a whole lot of much, and in the wee hours of the morning, you guys do arrive at at Mount Kumijinja at the monastery. People look up at you. People, like, they don't say anything, but you guys have been gone for a while and you're known. So they look up expectantly. They don't see Hiei, but they see Hiro. And it's not, like, awkward, but they all, like, you guys can assume that they assume the worst. Assuming, like, he'd fallen in battle or something. And rather than, like, say something now, they simply just wait for you guys to make your way up the mountain pass to reach the master once again. She greets you
as if I would
Good.
If I would pass one of them. If I would pass one of them, I would allay their fears.
Okay.
He lives. He just stayed with the Kitsune.
They nod. You pass several. The master greets you guys at like basically the front door to the monastery's courtyard. Well, is your poison cured?
No, we must find a new path for solving that issue. The leader of the Kitsune village backed out on the agreement, both parts of it, both in finding a cure for us and in resurrecting Kiyome as he said that he would.
Her brow furrows. I guess I'm not surprised. He honestly probably never had the resources in the first place.
Before I left, I wrote down the treachery and delivered the note of what he promised and did not deliver to Kiyome's parents, and that we would continue to continue our quest to find a way to bring Kiyome back to her. Also, I left in anger a note to him saying that he should not dishonor himself with unpaid debts, false promises.
She nods thoughtfully. I fear he may have made that promise, expecting to fulfill it, but not being able to. I've spoken with the present warlord of Kaoling, and I believe he was honest when he said that the hobgoblins of Kaoling played no role in these raids. We did find an errant thing. I worry that
I would describe the creatures we fought. I can never remember their names.
They're weird. They're called Urdefin.
Yeah, I would describe the Urdefin.
Creatures of Abaddon, built for nothing but war.
Yes.
The pair of you are very lucky to be alive.
We were clever.
We almost were not.
Not lucky.
She nods. There are obviously
Hiei has remained. Sorry, Hiei has remained with the Kitsune. His illness took a turn for the worse, and he is meditating there under their care.
I understand. Hopefully he shall return to you soon. Obviously there's more going on here than we once imagined. If Kuratama and his healers could not see to you, there is another option. It takes longer, but I believe the results may be more favorable. And if the pair of you are still able to travel, it could help answer some questions that we at the monastery have. With the recent fall of the school in Tangma, the future of this continent hangs in the balance. She looks at Tarask. As a student of the Master of Medicine, you, of all of us, must understand that all 5 of these powers working together creates the greater whole. And now, with it splintered...
I just kind of nod my head and give a look as though I might know something about that a bit more.
Yeah, make a, you could make an Arcana check, or a Religion check, whichever one's better for you, because it's awkward how they kind of work together. So you don't, with a 19, it's a little, there's a little less that you're able to piece together. She's right. It definitely...
I mean, I remember from last session we were talking about the Master of Fire and how he left and all that sort of stuff. And
and that's an important element as well. Sometimes it's also associated, though it's very like secondary, tertiarily, and it's like many Angalarian would say it's wrong, because like technically it is. But as far as Kijang is concerned, fire is the element associated with necromancy. Imagine like the gas in the combustion engine that powers the car. Fire is equated to negative energy. Again, most people will be like, no, that's not how that works. But that's how Kijang's followers interpret it, and he, as well as the other gods, have never said anything to the contrary.
Would he actively stop someone from using fire magic? Like any form of magic, like evocation or whatnot, that uses fire? Or is it just like... Masters of Fires are almost kind of seen as potentially, like, dangerous because of their deviation to this sort of nature. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's... You get the gist. He wouldn't necessarily stop it, but it's like... He is probably, like, from a martial standpoint, the most powerful. The argument can also be made for, like, the element of metal. Followers of Kijang would interpret, like, advanced blacksmithing, the discovery of like mithril and adamantine and other like super powerful metals to be his work, and it's a magic in its own right to take a rock and turn it into a weapon. But the fire guy can snap his fingers and everything dies, and then snap his fingers again and everything using a different kind of fire rises. Would he stop it? No, but certainly it's the element most associated with just like wanton destruction. As you're mulling this over, the master snaps her fingers as she is wont to do, and a pair of the iconic... Hiei had one, but it was a little less official, because like his was white, but this one, these two are like purest dust or dirt, touch it, it falls away, head wraps. She holds them out, and I'm sorry we don't have time for ceremony, you two, but you did, in fact, run off creatures from the Darklands and creatures from, I expect, a worse place. From our northern border, you did something that few people could ever hope to achieve without a small army, and you did it with 2. And of course...
3.
Hero throws his head in the back to find
4. Yeah, 3 with the horse.
I actually was intending Hiei there, because
he was there for a while. Yeah, he was there for half of it. You aren't wrong.
It was 4 of us.
Yeah, 5 Farron. I feel like Farron needs to get one too. Okay, so Hiei gets his eventually, but for now, a little like cat-sized the head wrap that the Japanese warrior monk is known for appears, and she hands one to Anru, hands one to Tarask, puts one on Farron's head. It's adorable. For your services, we are honored to welcome you as full members of the Kumajinja Monastery. It's an induction into a bigger world.
Take a knee and bow.
It is an induction to a bigger world, but also a smaller. It's a bigger world because now you will be called upon by people all throughout the Dragon Empires, as well as myself, to protect the innocent, to right the wrongs, to fight when others cannot. But it is a smaller world because now you are a part of a much smaller, much more tight-knit group in full. You should know that the monastery will always be open to you, no matter what. And come whatever may, you will always have rest and food and advice and companionship and, frankly, respect in these halls. As you guys put these on, it's like they almost like snap to fit your form perfectly. There's a little like weep out for Tarask's, him having a snoot, and everything feels a little lighter as you do so. It's almost as if you're floating. In a mechanical sense, these function as +1 cloaks of resistance. They also have a constant prestidigitation running on them. So, they occupy your... Well, yeah, they occupy your head slot, not your shoulder slot. But again, it's a constant prestidigitation, so anytime dirt hits it, it's like as an immediate reaction, it will just poof, clean white. The more important mechanical benefit is this is a 100% identifier that you are a full member of the Kumajinja Monastery, with like all the friends that makes, all the enemies that makes, and everything in between. Now, the master directs you guys to a table, and on that table, a map has been laid out, which I will quickly upload to Roll20, because I put it in Fantasy Grounds, and that helps no one now.
Oh no.
Oh no. I'll just throw it on the board. I think I'm actually uploading 3 maps. Oopsie daisies. Sorry about it. The map has, and we can see it on Twitch and YouTube, a line has been drawn out from the monastery across, like, you assume to one of those docks, and from there out over the sea, crossing briefly a little bit of the Forest of Spirits to eventually get on another boat, and from there down through the Dragon Empires by sea to Tangma. This is the fastest route to where I believe may be the answer for what's wrong with you. Go to the school in Ramparsan. Seek the master of the School of Water. Hopefully she will be able to help you. And if not, determine what's going on there. As I said, it has farther reaching consequences and complications for all of us. We need answers for questions, and frankly, with creatures of the Darklands and the lower planes wandering about, I can afford to spare no more than you two. Though, if I catch wind of Hiei, of course I will send him to meet up with you.
That is appreciated.
Could I ask another boon of you?
And she looks, holds her hands like up, as if like to wait.
As of recent, it has been my way to not wish to use cutting weaponry due to my past and the connotations upon them. Would it be okay if I were to take 2 of the kukri from the monastery's weaponry?
She nods. Our resources are your
Thank you.
resources. Of course, anything expensive, anything with heavy enchantments, though I believe you, Tarask, eventually will be able to help us in that role. Will still cost you, but of course we can work out some form of discount. And she kind of like rolls her eyes a little.
I kind of just look to my robes, just kind of like to our robes, in fact, and just kind of go, yes, thankfully I've got some experience on my hands now.
She looks you guys over as well, and she looks at Anru's double torch, and she snaps her fingers, and as she does so, the burny part of the torch before your eyes turns into it looks like a comma, but it's considerably oversized, almost like a scythe. These may serve you better now. And yes, mechanically you can turn that into a double scythe. It sounds super terrifying in practice, but also sweet. Anyway, you guys can set out pretty much whenever you want. You have another like downtime stopping point here. Not like stop the session, but like if the characters have anything they need to do, if you guys want to try to craft anything else, now would be the time. It's going to be a while. You guys are going to be on a boat for quite a bit. Getting to Tanma.
No, basically I would just be taking whatever time I would need to work off the debt to earn 2 masterwork kukri.
Okay, sure. Tarask, got anything he wants to do?
I just want to stock up on some more healing potions, to be honest. That's my main concern.
That's fair. Yeah, you're certainly able
during
to do
this
so.
time. During this time, they would actually see the master would probably see Anru out in the training fields, displaying a bit of Darklands martial ability, things she'd kept behind, kept to herself, basically retraining herself in the fighting styles that she'd used in the Underdark.
Fair enough. Okay. So this is, in a mechanical sense, this is when we say that now you are no longer a blazing torchbearer, vivisectionist / accelerist. Now you are an accelerist slash
stalker.
And that, you heard that right. Path of War is now legal here at Tale of Three Dragons. We're going crazy. All the encounters are way stronger now than they ever were because Path of War is legal. And Robin, if you watch this, that's the biggest pull I've ever had. Yes, you may play that here.
Play with us, Robin.
As like I said, do speak super frankly. You guys literally pay for this. Why should anything be banned? That's horrible. But yeah, a lot of people watch. It's probably like a bit of a mentality shift as well for Anru, who formerly would just like have a bludgeoning weapon that was fire, and now it's more deft, lethal strikes, more like one shot, one kill.
It's basically that was the mentality she had in the Underdark. Coming up here, she was learning a way that she could be brutal or gentle. Now she has a reason to bring back the more you're going to die fighting styles that she's used to from the Underdark.
Makes sense. Tarask is able to... I can't just say you have infinite potions. But you guys essentially...
Really?
You guys are now essentially...
My craft alchemy is 16. It's like...
Okay.
It's like... Yeah, I'm not adding these on because I'm like, I have infinite potions. I'm adding these on because I have a plus 16. If I were to take 10, it's literally... I could not fail.
That is accurate. Go ahead and roll, though, if you would.
How many do you want me to roll?
Just give me one. Fair
24?
Enough.
Yeah,
that was a bad roll for you. That's an 8.
Yeah, that's even a bad roll for me.
Fair enough. Okay, so you are able to craft
folk.
8 potions of Cure Light Wounds. And for every one you craft, the monastery matches it.
Oh, okay. And that means our supply goes up to 22 because I crafted like 7. I also made 2 more potions to cure moderate wounds.
The
at
monastery will match those as well. Whatever you craft here, the monastery will match. Short of like a wand of wish, maybe no. But like,
well, that means we have 22 potions of cure light wounds and 7 potions of cure moderate wounds.
Seems good.
Both at 3rd level. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're a bit better on the healing components now.
That you are. Do rat folk have prehensile tail as an alternate racial trait?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think tieflings are the only ones that get that.
Tieflings get it, but rat folk don't.
Tieflings have it. Vanara have it. You think rat folk would as well. That's... Oh well. We can complain about that later. You guys, as Tarask whips stuff up and Anru practices the subtle art of cutting people's throats out, you guys still do have those occasional bouts of dizziness, bouts of like sudden nausea that'll wash over you. It's... people stop and stare for a little while as this happens, because there's definitely times, as I imagine Onru like does a lot of like flips with a double scythe and like is spinning it as like one big constant death motion as she dances around, and then misses a beat and stumbles forward, and people see it. They say nothing, and it's hard to read their facial expressions. Because you guys, with like, for people who don't understand what I mean, for like the head wraps you guys have, it's basically just this is all, like what I'm holding with my fingers is what sticks out of that white head wrap. Everything else is, well, in Tarask's case, his ears, and in Onru's case, her ears, because elf ears in Pathfinder are whoop, so little like bits of your ears out the top and your eyes, and that's it. So it's real hard to read anybody anywhere. But you also, both of you know, you are extremely, like, you ran through the night to get here, and it goes like into midday, and it's around that time that both of you get pretty exhausted. Of course, you could head on, but the consequences will be mechanical. Fair enough. Okay.
But no, basically before going, I would do my routine one more time as I'm spinning what still appears to be ever-burning torches. As they spin, the fire would extend off of them, showing the blade, because the blade is not always there. It's part of the fire, but at least thematically.
Sure.
So as it spins, the blades appear out of the flame.
Okay.
But after getting through one last set without actually stumbling, I would start heading towards bed.
Okay, understood. And it's just probably like it's a real quick, just like you guys fall into the bed and are done. The morning comes almost immediately. Like, you guys don't dream, you don't really remember a whole lot of that night so much as just it's morning now.
Trying to find the master in the morning.
Okay, you may do so.
So, master, do you have a way that we might be able to contact someone to allow us to travel in the path that you showed us?
Well, as full members of the monastery, you can certainly get your hands on a ship at one of our docks for free. There's a canal, we'll say. Yeah, that makes more sense. There's a canal that separates Minkai from the Forest of Spirits that you guys can take a small, unassuming junk through. We can find one big enough for Hero, and from there, you'll pass over the nation of Shidao. As you cross through Shidao, both of you make knowledge local checks, if you would.
Sure. Knowledge local.
Oh, man.
18. That's also a bad roll.
It is. You're the smart boy. Does Honor have it?
No, not trained. I have nature, history, and arcana.
Nature's fine too. It's actually, we had talked about some of this at like session 0.5. Okay, so Shidao it's a really shallow gulf that you guys see, like, that separates Minkai from the rest of the Dragon Empires. It's frequented by fishermen of all shapes and sizes, merchants as well. But these guys are really superstitious about what lives underneath the surface of the waves, and throughout the Gulf of Shidao, there exist what are called trade spires, which essentially are just like sitting on top of reefs and atolls throughout the Gulf are these stone obelisks, which will feature little shelves which travelers will leave offerings of ceramics, glass, gold, shiny things, right? To ensure that the locals don't do anything horrible, because like travelers or fishermen who don't do that will sometimes provoke the ire of Shidao's denizens, which Anru would know as anything from Locaths to, actually, we had talked about this, but Cecilias, of all things, live pretty close to the monastery, it turns out.
Yeah, for those who don't know, basically squid mermaids.
If you want to play Ursula, you can do it in the Dragon Empires. But on the other side of that, also like merfolk, tritons, more benevolent, generally speaking, aquatic creatures. But by and large, it's the Locaths that rule the like various city-states that you guys are going to pass directly over top of. From there, basically from there, you end up in Tangma. Zahoy and Huangat both will respect your stations and not do anything to challenge your crossing, and you should basically, like, after a little bit of overland, you'll head into Rampersad, and that's where the school is located.
Okay. So, after getting this information from the master, also, do you have any idea where we might find a higher level, or rather higher skilled cleric that could resurrect Kiyome without a body?
To be honest with you, I would talk to the very person who you seek at the school.
A master of water would most likely be a master of healing, and is likely the forms of white necromancy. If they are to be believed to be the masters of water, then something like we are asking should actually be child's play for them.
Accurate. As fire is associated with negative energy, so is water associated with positive. It being the thing that is necessary on the material plane to sustain life, just period, flat out. That's how followers of Kijang, like, that's where the line is. And certainly if anyone is powerful enough to remove whatever's happened to you guys, they could probably bring back the dead as well.
Is there anything else you wish to charge us with at this time?
Just be careful. Like I said, there's more going on here than we know now. And I fear that it may center around the pair of you. And Hiei as well. We understand.
Further explain the...
Go ahead.
Bringing that up, she would further explain the little coincidences that we've found. This showed up here. The things that we fought knew that would be coming.
She nods.
You know,
we had heard
they are
the same.
Looking for us.
They're looking
it's
for you by
concerning
name.
enough. Why us? I mean, I know that's kind of the stereotypical question to ask, but truthfully, why us?
I wish I knew. Hopefully, as time moves forward, we'll all learn to understand it together. There are many tasks, there are many questions. Not everything is as clear to me as I let the initiates believe. But all will be revealed in time. Now go. Seek the Master of Water. Find a cure for what ails you. Find a cure for your friend. And when you return, I'm sure that someone somewhere will have need of capable individuals such as yourselves.
Low bow with a fist over chest, like
Sure.
the fist up and then down.
She returns it.
As you command.
There's a bow from Tarask. He doesn't do it as dramatically as that. He just kind of does like the, bow of respect.
Sure.
Well, they're probably used to the drow doing it overtly, because she's still, she's still one of those ones that she is lesser in her own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
They know better, but they can't break her of it.
Understood. Alrighty, so if there's nothing else to do at the monastery, you guys do set out. And do you wish to take Hero with you? If you'd like to park him here, you certainly can. Most of the journey will take place over water.
I personally think it would be a good idea to bring him because of his speed and needing to get Trask to go as fast as me.
Yeah, fair. Okay, sure.
I mean, eventually I could just build a construct or something, but that's...
You could, and at that time, levels. We could deliver...
That's more levels down the line.
That it is. We'll find the downtime.
Yeah.
It exists. So it takes you guys...
I mean, my walking speed right now is 50. Okay, you kind of need the horse to outrun me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just outrun you, keep up with you, please.
It takes you guys the better part of a day making your way back down through the monastery and down the mountain. The dock that the monastery doesn't necessarily own, but like they rent space there essentially for their own boats, awaits basically at the bottom of the mountain, but you do cross a couple of these little farms as you go through, and the reaction of peasants you saw a day or two ago, they're like, "Oh, it's you guys, hi," has changed from one of like jovial happiness to somber respect. It's much like Honor's hand over heart bow. It's that same idea. As you guys ride by, it's a lot of deference. Some actively just like drop to their knees and hands on the ground, head down, bow as you guys pass. It's
when we have a straightaway, I actually would put myself through the paces. So times 4 run speed, so 200 per round.
Damn. Okay.
Just getting some.
Hero can keep up. Hero has run.
Oh yeah, he has better than me.
That's fair.
He's at 70. I'm at 50. So he could still outrun me.
That's fair. Yeah, we got a couple levels before the disparity gets bad. But in that case, it's a lot more.
I haven't actually taken my my speed tincture. This is just my base without the speed tincture.
With the boots of speed. Fair. Okay. So yeah, did you forget about those?
Yeah, I forgot I had those, but yeah, those are only for 10. Those are haste for 10 rounds and like plus 10 speed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually am moving at 60, not 50.
Okay, fair enough.
So that would be times 4 is 240.
Mm-hmm. So in that case, a lot of people just straight up have to like get out of your way as you guys charge down the road as fast as you can. Hero feels pretty good. He looks pretty happy, like just running down like this with the wind flowing through his mane. Tarask probably has to hang on for dear life.
I imagine Tarask has just kind of like tied himself to Hero, and it's just like working in his spell book as they're jumping along. Like he's just tied a rope around his waist, and then like to Hero's sort of like chest, just being like, because Tarask is a small character on a large animal. He does not need as much space.
Yeah, and it's very jostly as you try to like flip through your spellbook, get some work done, and then suddenly just boom across to this little dock. It's not a whole lot of much. Basically, it's just like fishing ships that will go out into like the Okayo Ocean or the Gulf of Shidao, which is where you guys are going to be heading. The boat you guys are taking is pretty obvious, though. It's pretty tall compared to the other boats here. Not like a full Japanese warship, but it's that same idea, almost as if someone had put a small house on top of a boat. It's Definitely, like, the house part is big enough to hold large creatures, and you imagine that's often what it's for, is for when people want to transport mounts back and forth throughout the region. I'm going to throw a d8 at the board, and I have a 2, and I'm going to look at my Dragon Empire's book to generate a random NPC, because that went so well last time. Actually, it could just be Yuli. Now I am pilot of boat! Everything is good for Yuli! It's not
Oh
Yuli.
no.
It's not Yuli. Yuli has a job to do. He is busy. Okay, so...
And how many children again?
Too many children! Spends too many time, rolls too many dice. Children spontaneously appear out of nowhere. He has a crazy life.
Spontaneously, yes. That's probably the part I love the most. It's just the spontaneously part of it.
Ooh, now I have minute. Now I move forward.
No, it's Boris. It's Boris. This is Boris.
I don't know
I
who
can
Boris
see it
is.
now. We keep running into Sniff Neblin. All of them look exactly like Yuli, but they have different Slavic names.
I am Boris, son of Yuli. I drive boat now. Now this one is considerably, like, you see his form before you see, like, him, like, fully as you move up. There's just this giant hulking humanoid creature on this boat carrying it. Looks not unlike a naginata, but it's like the blade part is wooden, and it's just like a little oar. As you guys make to the boat, he turns and sees you. As natives of Tiansha, both of you would recognize a Nagaji just right off the bat. You don't really see a lot of them in Minkai. They, by and large, they keep to Nagajor in the south, where they, like, these guys were bred as a servitor race for the Naga, and over time they developed a free will. They're still, like, fanatically loyal to their, like, what created them, but now it's out of, like, a free willing nature to do so, but that doesn't not make these guys pretty gigantic. This particular one has, like, just bright emerald scales with really, really, really unnaturally bright red ridges on, and you guys both interpret her, given how bright her scales are. Like, from her scalp down her neck, you assume, like, all the way down her back. She doesn't say anything. As you guys approach, she just kind of, like, she pulls the naginata oar out of the water, and the butt of it just onto the boat, and as that happens, a ramp descends. She closes her... Well, no, she doesn't. She's a Ophidian. She cannot blink, so she just kind of, like... Her eyes lose focus for a second as she bows. And it's clear she's waiting for you guys to get on the boat.
Thank you.
I would also bow.
Yeah, bow. Thank you.
And on the boat.
And as you guys get on the boat, she gets up, and she doesn't say a whole heck of a lot of much as you guys mount up. It's just like she begins, like, in the center of the boat, spinning this oar, not unlike what Anru does, over her head. And as this happens, the boat almost, like, it feels like it almost springs to life as this thing pulls out of its moorings. Ropes just kind of, like, spontaneously untie and back up, and off you guys go. It's a really quiet journey, almost like, as you guys continue to move, the Nagaji says nothing. The Nagaji just stares directly in front of the boat.
Oh, too quiet.
Yeah.
Eventually, at some point, Taras is going to say, so what's your name?
Okay, can you make a will save?
A what save?
A will save.
A will. Oh, crap baskets.
It's your best save.
That's still a crap baskets.
Okay, with the 21,
Okay,
with the 21, is that
mini
minimum?
crap baskets?
Yeah, 15. Okay, so the Nagaji, like, as you talk to her, she does not respond and continues to just stare forward, but as you talk, she appears a little more translucent. The will save it's in like a mechanical sense, like to disbelieve an illusion. Though Tarask believes that what he's looking at is real, it definitely like opaques out a little as it continues to just stare forward and the boat moves. The silence continues to be deafening, but Tarask might have a vague bit of insight into the why of it.
Having fun yet?
There's something off with our pilot. As hard as that may be for you to believe.
No, I believe very many things.
Anru can make the save now too, now that she's been made aware of it. Anru's a little less like looking. Well, no, there's a bonus because you've been made aware. So it's the same idea. The Nagaji's body just fades into blackness. Well, not blackness, but like into like opacity as the boat continues to move. She's definitely not in the strictest sense. She's real, but she's not mundane. The silence again continues. Like it's almost like she doesn't see you guys anymore. It's just moving the boat.
Mm.
All right. If they wish to speak, they will speak.
Very well. It's still concerning to me that they remain so quiet. I don't mean to speak ill of their customs or anything of that nature. It's just concerning. If that makes any sense to you.
It's fine.
So as you guys get
understand.
like where Minkai, or rather like the land is a little farther out of sight, then everything else the boat picks up in speed faster than you guys have ever comprehended. Not like fall off the boat fast, but you guys are moving basically like a car on the highway speed at this point. It's a very fast clip. The wind rapidly picks up, blowing through your hair, blowing through your head wraps. Hero, like, there's definitely enough room on the deck of the ship for Hero to be out, and he like throws his head back, not like frightened at all about anything as the wind blows over him. The Nagaji, of course, continues to do more of the same, and it isn't long before you guys actually, I haven't got to do one of these in a while. A bunch of elementals attack. No, that's on Tuesdays.
Uh-oh.
Will Nova on Tuesdays. Thank you.
I mean, you digged your own grave. Well, you didn't really dig your own grave.
Mirrodin doesn't have to do a lot of digging. Mirrodin just has to not realize there'll be several encounters. Anyway, let's get a perception check from both of you guys.
Okay. And Farron, I presume?
Mm.
Good. Because Farron has a significantly better time than I do when it comes to perception checks.
That I do. Okay, so both of you guys see this. There are... I need to get my random encounter foo up a little bit. Let's test out that Path of War Madness. Okay, so as you guys make your way through the ship, or not through the ship, but through the water, rather, both of you see... They're pretty big. It's about the size of a horse. It looks not unlike a pair of tigers in the water with the dorsal fin of a shark coming off its back. They turn in the direction of the ship, and it's around this time that happens that the Nagaji pilot spins its knock my glasses spins its Naginata oar, and as it happens the ship slows. You're not sure why, but it's definitely enough to where these creatures both make their way up onto the boat, leaping dolphin-esque out of the water because their back half well and truly ends in a sleek tail, not unlike a great white shark or a dolphin. They land on the boat and look at you two hungrily. Roll for initiative. As soon as I get the board up.
Suckers?
Suckers, let's test out this path of war madness.
Oh my.
It's gonna seem like I'm putting a terrible name on these monsters in this encounter, but this well and truly, like, it's their name. That's what they're called. Sea cat.
Alright then, let me roll my initiative.
If you would, yeah.
It is!
Nice!
Oh, 19.
You did it! Andrew? Andrew did. No, Andrew did not. Good! Well done. That's easy math. That's what it was before. Okay, so Tarask, you are up first. These guys are, again, they're about the size of... Like about the size of Hero. They're both... the whole of the ship is about, like, 50 feet wide, 100 feet across. They're about 20 feet away from you.
That is mildly concerning. So then, I'm up first.
Yes, you are.
They're not right on top of me yet, right?
Yeah, they're 20 feet out.
Hmm. My AC is okay for now. Just checking to see. Okay, Alright, I'm just gonna, to the one closest to me, I'm just gonna lash out it with a telepathic lash, basically the psionic version of Daze.
Nice. Okay. So that means it needs to have 4 or less hit dice.
5 or less.
Okay, so
Yeah, actually 4 or less, yeah, 5 or more are unaffected.
So-
Sorry, they worded that weirdly.
They did, yeah. So you lash out at its mind, and you almost, like, as you use psionic aggressive powers, you can see a ghostly something or other, like, come out of your, like, magic self to strike the thing. It seems unaffected.
Crap baskets.
And you would know that that's because it's too powerful to be affected by what you just did.
Crap baskets. Well, there's not really a good reason. I guess, I'm 20 feet away, right?
Yes.
How much further do I have left on the boat before I'd fall off?
About a move action's worth behind you would put you on on the railing.
So I could, like, well, then again, they just charge me. I'm just gonna ready myself for an attack, to be attacked, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. And that is what happens. The charge action of a mer creature is kind of awkward because, like, it has front legs that can pull it and it's capable of moving not in the water, but a lot of it is just kind of like aggressive dragging of its back half as they do well and truly charge up to 5 feet. Yeah. And I'm gonna first, I don't have pounce because I'm not a true tiger, so I'm just going to first attack Tarask with a 22 to hit.
Ouch, yes.
Nice.
That's not nice.
For 5 points of damage. Then the next attack is another one of these creatures running up it, well, drag slamming itself up to Onru for a 21 to hit.
22.
Just missed it. Oh, well, actually, okay, I do have my charge bonus in. Had to double check. All right, Onru, you're up. Now that these guys are a little closer, you can see that it looks like a tiger. The front half does, but there's no fur. It's just very... The scales have the same pattern that a tiger's stripes would, with, like, the orange is the main tone with black scale stripes all over this thing. It has fins coming out of, like, out of its back, out of its like it's back at 90-degree angles as well as like just this great gigantic tail. As it had to move up to you guys also notice it passed through and through the Nagaji without interacting with it, and the Nagaji like didn't seem to mind at all. It's at this point like it did the spin, there was a slowdown, and now it sits.
I'll take a swift action to move into my stance.
Alrighty.
And bringing out bringing around my my scythe, or double scythe, rather. I would flurry of blows.
Alrighty.
Also, as a free action, activating my boots of haste.
Okie dokie.
So I get an additional attack on the flurry, so that's 3 attacks.
Okay.
All of which at my highest.
Well.
Hold on. That critical means that I also get extra damage on top of the extra damage I was getting from my stance.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that critical right there makes it to where I have Deadly Strike, which is 1d6 extra damage on each one of those hits, and then my stance is also 1d6 damage on each of those hits if they hit.
Okay, the 23 does confirm. The 13 and the 15, like, you're still trying to figure out how this thing works. So, like, as you spin it around, the second one goes high, the third one goes low, but the first one just kind of, like, brains the creature.
Okay, so that 26 is with an additional 2d6.
Not an additional 3?
No, it's just 2d6.
Just 2.
One from the stance, one from Deadly Strike.
Ah, I see. Fair enough. Okay, nice. So it takes you almost drop this thing in one attack. Like it has, like, well, does it have ears? I imagine they probably don't have ears. No, yeah, it does. It's like as you come down, you gash its right ear almost entirely all the way off. It roars not unlike a tiger in great pain, but there's also a bit of a, like, the roar has a bit of a staccato to it. Imagine if you, like a dolphin chirping.
Yeah, we have a problem. That 26, that's only at a ×2. It's supposed to be a ×4. This is double scythe.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Okay.
It's dead. I think it's dead.
Yeah, you've had like 7 hit points. So let me look at the math and be double sure here.
So 26, that's 52 plus.
Yep, yeah, I said it's dead.
7.
The 52 is good. Yeah, it is. I think it's actually dead. All right, no more.
This reminds me of the one Oni, the Tetsubo crit me. That was
the ×4 crit is powerful. It's not dead. It's dying, and you can flavor that kill if you'd like.
Basically, as my whirling blade of flaming death comes by, it just lops the head off. Okay. Cauterizing the wound as it happens.
Fair enough. That definitely happens. Tarask, what do you do? You're
just kind of look over at Anru, kind of like, oh god, and then just kind of look back at the creatures. I'm not that good at melee. Jesus Christ.
Do we have? Are you actually showing us on the map somewhere? Because I'm not even looking at the map.
No, it's just theater of the mind.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm just gonna ungrab my Jute.
Jute.
Why do we have to keep playing in all these exotic locations that I can't say the names to anything? Why is it that we can't be in like normal fantasy? Why do we have to be in
blame Chase
weird names?
Hey, it's not weird. I think it's cool.
It's a Jite. It's good.
Yeah, dude. It gets you 2-on-1 counters.
Attack with the Jite.
It does miss.
Damn, it still can't hit.
It was close. You definitely, like, you swing your Jite down at this thing, and it connects with the creature. But this is around the time that Tarask also realizes that what looked like fur in the water is, in fact, scales. And you can't quite, like, slam through it. It, however, does take offense to this.
Ah, crap baskets.
First attack is a 16 to hit.
That's exactly my AC.
Nice. And then I have a pair of claws. I can't reach Onru right now. So they're both going to come at you for a 13 and a 28.
Yeah. That hits, yeah.
It does. I don't have improved critical, so I just have 1d8 plus 1d4.
Why are you rolling d20s for damage?
Oh, I'm not. Those are 3 attacks. A bite and 2 claws.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You're fine. It's a fair ask. I'm not that cool. So,
I'm dead.
18 damage. Oh my god. Oh, the RNG doesn't like you, my man. This thing tears into you. The first claw, like, it doesn't have to move to attack this time, but it still has to, like, orient itself, and with no back legs, most of that is done, again, with a dragging motion with its front paws, and so as it, like, swings, it tries to orient itself, and this one probably just passes. It might hit you, but, like, it doesn't quite get through the ring of protection or amulet that I think you have at this point. I forget. But the other two dig in pretty hard, and it hurts real bad. Bits of Tarask fall away as a random encounter becomes the cat eats the mouse. I didn't mean to do that, but it's good.
Did you even add your AC from the monk robes on?
Yes, my AC 16.
Okay.
That's not bad for a level 3 wizard.
And no, I didn't.
I thought he was taking monk levels.
I didn't put on mage armor or any of that sort of stuff because I didn't.
I think the monk levels are farther down the line.
Are you D? Are you die?
No, I still have 4 more hit points
and like 30 potions that you made yourself. Onru, you're up.
Yes,
okay.
I didn't expect
How far am I away from it? And are there any enemies that I have to acrobat between?
You're about like 15 feet away from it. The only thing between you and it is the opaque Nagaji.
I already know that the Nagaji is incorporeal. I will run straight through it.
It doesn't seem to bother. It just like is there, staring off into space.
And I'm going to expend one of my maneuvers for a flurry strike, which allows me to do pretty much what flurry does as a standard action.
Nice.
And I get the extra one from the haste.
Sure.
So.
Well, no, you don't get the extra one from haste because you're not making a full attack because you had to move. That's where the extra attack from haste comes from.
Hey, I thought haste didn't care whether it was full attack. You just get an extra attack.
Haste still does care. Because you basically have the same thing on the key points as a monk. I'll double check it, but I'm about 90%. 21 hits, 13 misses, 14 damage.
Yeah.
Is there more? Yeah, for burning, double scythe. I like it.
Hold on, 1 sec. Roll 1d6. Up. That's extra 4 damage from the stance.
Understood. So a total of 18. You run up as this thing begins tearing into Tarask, who freaks out, and it's still more of the same. The weapon is awkward. The fighting style is awkward. You haven't quite got it down. So like you can bring the first one over top down into it, and then the spin becomes awkward, and it slides off the side. Because you're used to using a bludgeoning weapon, right? So you don't hit with the blade. You hit like with the side of it, and just whoop off the side it goes. Tarask.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute.
What's up?
No, that didn't work.
Doesn't work?
I was gonna. I'm used to 3rd edition. 3rd edition, it just gave you an extra standard action, so I thought my brain is not working here.
Whoa! Jeez. Okay. Just gonna pop one of my cure moderate wounds.
Alrighty. So digging that out will provoke from the sea cat. You won't be able to quite defend yourself as you dig a potion out.
That's it. I'm just gonna hit it again.
Alright.
Just gonna try and hit it.
It's technically flanked now. Yeah, no.
Yeah, so +2 on that.
At this point, like, it got stabbed into pretty hard by Onru's double scythe, and it's in the process of turning, and so you swing and you would have smacked it in the face if its face was still there. Instead, you just kind of like almost hit the dorsal fin as it like flops around on the deck in Enru's direction. Now the beast sees there's something a little stronger, and before it can stop and have its meal, it must defend itself. And as it does so, something bad happens. What could happen? I don't necessarily want to say it falls back into the water, because that's boring, but it definitely...
Would that be annoying to deal with?
It provokes an attack of opportunity. It provokes an attack of opportunity from both of you. I don't know if I can.
Nice.
Can I be prone right now? Yeah, I can't be tripped. I don't have legs.
Oh.
Well, I have kind of legs. It's awkward. It's just the act of turning is what causes the provocation from both of you. It can't defend itself.
Up.
Still not quite there, but the 17, that definitely, well, the 20 and max 17 damage does definitely connect with it. Quickly, I will calculate her go. 2 more. Nice. Okay. It's already, it's committed to the full attack action, so as the bite comes in, it's still, flopping over, but Enru digs in, and a considerable amount of sea cat flesh is removed from this thing's, its flank as it's turning around. It's not looking well. It's beat up. The sound is the mixture of the tiger's that a tiger makes when it's hungry, combined with the staccato of a dolphin. I'm not going to try to make that noise. It will sound bad. Well, you know what? Fortune favors the bold. It's and there's in the middle as a lot, you dig into it hard. Then I have a 27 and a 27 for its 2 claws.
Both hit.
Nice, I did it. Take that, Path of War. OP. I say fie on thee. I can still hit. Plus...
Hey, the Path of War didn't do anything to my AC. I never made it harder for you to hit me.
Fair, yeah. I am curious, 13 damage. I am curious to see how it pans out as it levels as well, because my only Path of War experience was at level, 15, I think.
Yeah, well, you also said it was a warder, and warders are all about not getting killed.
Warders are terrifying. Yeah, warders are... Zweihander, Savant, super spooky, Enru. This thing, it can't quite dig in, and you cut the crap out of it, and it hurt. It looks like it's pretty beat up, but it is able to get its 2 forelimbs into your sides and just pull down. Actually, hang on. Wait a minute. Take, on that note, I do have Rend. It's 7 more points of damage, because pulled down, it in fact does, as the 2 claws, dig into, both of your, kidneys and just down.
Decent.
I don't have Pounce, but I do have Rend. I don't have Pounce because I don't have feet, is why. That's fair. And it is on you, my friend.
Is it dead yet?
Yes, it is. The 16, it's flanked, misses, but it's the first attack as that hurt. Enru leans forward a little bit in the first swing. Yes, 1 more damage. And then so the first attack goes wide, and there's Enru figures it's not spin the weapon, it's spin the body. So down you go, pivot your foot, and you almost flip in place to bring the back end down, and that does take it through the dome into the deck of the ship. Very dead. As that happens, as the creatures are defeated, the Nagaji, who's been just kind of patiently sitting on its knees, stands up, spins its Oranagi Nada once again, and the ship picks up in speed, just lightning fast. Before anything else goes down, it moves over to the bodies of the sea cats. It puts its weapon down as if to shovel the body, but stops short and looks up at you two.
Go ahead.
And so it does. In one great motion, the bodies of the sea cats over the side.
If you would, after tending to your wounds, please.
You need something from me?
My kidneys are falling out.
Yeah, probably.
Here, I'll toss you a potion to cure moderate wounds at 3rd level.
I would take that.
So that's 2d8, and then I'm just going to chuck down another. Well, just bleep you too, RPG or RNG.
It's 2d8 plus what?
Plus 3.
3. It's a caster level 3.
All right, that gets the majority of it up. I'm still 7 down though.
Tosses you another potion to cure light wounds at 3rd level. 1d8 plus 3.
Topped.
Nice.
There we go.
Well done.
Spinning the weapon, I would put it onto my back because that's what you do with weapons in the East. You have them on your back. It's just the way it works.
Fair.
Despite
Especially
the fact that that's entirely impractical and is not make any sense realistically.
Yeah. Well, it's not just weapons in the East. The guys running around in the West with great axes that are way too big have to put them somewhere.
Yeah. It's like, well, think maybe I might get a little more up close and personal with the next batch. Pulling out the 2 kukri, spinning them in hands, putting them back into their sheaths.
I just like drinking potions.
Potions.
Just kind of like.
You do realize you're supposed to let them come after me, right?
At this rate, I think I'm going to become addicted to potions before I can take care of that sort of stuff myself.
Man, is that a thing? Do we have rules for that? You are addicted
No,
to
we
cure
don't.
That's mean, is what that is.
Well, if you're the one that's using a recipe with opium in your potions, then
that's your own problem. You did that to yourself.
I'm not that foolish.
I did not think you were, my friend.
So it's not long before you guys do pass that that canal that goes through Minkai and the Forest of Spirits, and the boat does have to slow down because as you get closer to land again, much faster than either of you expect that to happen, you guys do come across several fishing ships as well as trade vessels from everywhere from like Minata and Minkai and like the eastern half of Tian Sha all the way to like Avestan and Garund, making their way through. The foreigners look at your ships with just like open-mouthed awe. Everyone else it's more of the same. It's that basic like, here come monks from the monastery, stop and bow serenely. Some again just kind of like, they almost like drop their fishing poles as they see you guys just scrambling to their knees and hands as fast as they can. You guys do both see also that this canal, it's not that wide. The trade ships from Avestan that are moving through here are considerably smaller than like, not like a full like Chelish man of war. But it's like, I'll say like about as big as like the Mississippi River, about that far through. And this does take you guys past that village that you guys saw, and you see it again. People like aren't really walking into the Forest of Spirits, and no one's like looking over but the 2 of you. But it is there, and you are aware of it. It just seems like everyone's more concerned with bowing at you or going about their business.
I would actually bow back to the people.
Okay. The ones that see this take it as like the highest of highest of highest honors, as one of the monks in the monastery does this. Definitely like no one's terrible at the monastery. You guys have a home there forever, but when the master said that, there's that caveat for like, when you become horrible, you don't. But there are definitely people that will join the Kumijinja monastery literally just for the prestige and for like that amount of power to get out of their station in life. So oftentimes the lower class is not paid attention to at all.
Yeah, and I'm basically, anytime I'm bowed to, I'd return it just as low, if not lower, if I could.
Understood.
Sharask just kind of nods his head. He doesn't mean to be rude. He's just also at the same time more focused on his work.
In all honesty, you're with stations how they work, I should not be bowing as low as them. I should be, just acknowledging. But yeah, character
No, Mike,
difference.
I know you're doing that on purpose. It's more so like I'm just kind of Tarask doesn't do the exact same thing because he's just kind of focused, I
Yeah,
guess.
you're
Sure.
busy.
I
People
have-
can see you're busy.
Makes sense.
yeah. AKA a potential downtime sort of
Okay.
workaround thing
So
for
did-
anything we create in the future.
Okay. You definitely like. You're moving pretty fast. Most ships would take weeks, maybe not weeks, maybe more like, no. This first leg before it cuts down to the south would be about like 6 days worth of travel, and then the down is probably like a week and a half, and then it kicks over after you get out of the Gulf of Shidao for another like 6
All right.
7
Well,
8 days.
if
But you're
if
gonna
this is
you're gonna
actually
make it
how
in like a third of that time, as fast as you're moving.
okay, well, if this is how fast it's actually going, I might get bored of just bowing back. So I would actually start putting on performances,
Okay.
like fighting expedition performances.
Alrighty, sure, yeah. As you go to do so, as like Henri begins to like go into the stance and do the spins and stuff, as you set your body into that position, the Nagiji, which again basically is just kind of down staring forward, gets up and it turns towards you, and it does like more of like a spin slam again with that or naginata, and as that happens, the naginata well and truly turns into a naginata. It holds it blade like at a 45-degree angle down from its body, which is in its fighting style at the ready. It doesn't attack, but it looks ready to defend itself.
Looking to it, I just put on a show. That's all.
It goes back. Or again, goes back about its time, sits and does nothing.
Mhm.
Once you
Basically putting on a show for anybody.
Sure. Once you guys clear that canal, and people do see it, there's a combination of like reverent oohs and ahs from the fisher folk you pass and people like on the shore who can see you as you move past this canal to like, sure. You pass a smaller boat that's definitely it's not made from around these parts. It looks a lot different than what you guys are in. There are a pair of creatures on this boat. One of them has just the most ferocious beard you have ever seen a creature ever have in your life, down past its pretty porcine gut, down to its waist, braided in several places with a mohawk, which is like back and braided as well, like back behind it like a ponytail. The other one, you assume the other one's female, based on, I guess this is more for Tarask as well, because Henri would recognize these, but the other one it's basically the same build, but no beard, and the hair is worn more simply. Henri's seen Drugar before, and thus knows what a dwarf is, but for Tarask, this is brand new. And for, actually,
I think I would know what a dwarf is just by my studies.
The dwarves,
Drugar.
the dwarves see, Henri, and for a second, there's that brief just, and then one of them picks up just a massive looking maul, whereas the other one picks up what like firearms exist in the setting, and it picks up. What are they called? It's a musket essentially. Levels it and then realizes that there's not a million of them and the sun's out, so it's probably fine. And they just kind of go about their business. And Tarask might know what a dwarf is. It's just like on Galarian, the dwarves don't really leave the dwarf home that much. They can. They are known to do so, but this far east, it's almost unheard of.
Upon them leveling their weapon at me, I would end the stance by coming down from a flip into a kneel with a bow and my weapon off to the side.
I want an acrobatics check. If we're gonna make these happen, we're gonna make it mechanical. Oh, I dropped.
Oh, hey, I have a good acrobatics. If I
Nice.
fail, I fall. It's fine.
If you
Tiki
fail,
is just so flamboyant, while my character's just like so pragmatic. It's funny.
it's a good back and forth. The 12 is enough. It's not difficult. There's probably the only real difficulty there is like as you land, they can't see it because like your hand comes down to catch you and it breaks line of sight, but there's a slide forward that Tarask certainly sees because you guys are still feeling it. Thankfully, it hasn't affected you at a bad time, but like the world kind of pitches forward as you land down and you have to like stop and catch your breath for a second as everything orients back up to normal. You guys, in about a day, you guys cover that whole, like from the docks down to the Gulf of Shidao. That's how fast you guys are able to move on this ship. And again, in that whole day, the Nagaji does nothing. The Nagaji just sits. But when the sun sets, it does stop the boat. In the same way, it up, spin, slam. The boat just eases to a halt. And then the Nagaji fades away into nothing before your very eyes. Its weapon kind of like clatters to the deck of the ship, but it's gone.
Okay, I would move to get the weapon and place it at a place of reverence just off to the side so it does not get jostled about.
Sure. The weapon is definitely magical. I have to remember with Drow Nobles, you have detect magic forever. You pick it up.
Yeah, constant.
And it's after the 3 rounds, it's feels like it's not quite conjuration, not quite I forget. I'm gonna look up the spell real quick. It's definitely like almost like minor artifact level power though. Bit of conjuration, bit of... Oh, no, that spell is conjuration. I had it right. Okay, fair enough. The exact what of it would be some kind of brain something to identify it.
Well, I would just... I assume that the being came from the sword itself, so I'm like, sleep well.
As you say that, the Naginata gets kind of warm in your hands for a second. You set it up right. Let's see if anything happens in the night. Do you guys set watch? Do you guys go inside the like I said, there's like kind of like a little house set on top of this boat that you guys can go in to get out of the elements.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a watch set? Is there lock the doors? How do we proceed?
I will still, stay up for part of the night to make sure that there's nothing immediately coming after. But I do need rest to recover any key points that I might have spent. So
fair enough. Tarask? Oh, Mac's not here. Okay. Tarask is fast asleep. Okay, so in the night, as you guys come to a stop, Tarask kind of just like heads straight off into bed. Like it's not long after like the door to the house shuts that there's a little like as the sound of a tiny 30-pound rat foot body just connects with what you assume is a bed. About maybe like 20 minutes pass uneventfully before several... Let's just see, is this a fighting encounter or is this a... Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to happen. Okay, so the creatures look humanoid as they break the surface of the water, but their faces and their... that wasn't supposed to happen. Almost like a fish on a humanoid body. Very scaly, very spiny, very, like, painful to the touch. Not Suagan. Not Suagan. There's probably a couple dozen of them. They approach the ship and, like, they don't have necks, really, so much as, like, Their head is big and looks just like a fish, just whoop, on top of a human body. And so, like, to turn, they have to turn their whole everything. And they do so, looking the ship up and down. A couple of them have kind of just looks like a, might be coral, might be bone, might be both, polearm, and they poke the ship. And with the knowledge nature, you definitely correctly identify, Anru, that these are, I think I mispronounced that name when we were talking about him a second ago. It's a hard name. I'm going to say Lokatha. These guys are the dominant primary race that lives in the Gulf of Shidao.
Would I know what their native language would be?
Aquan. Though they probably speak Tien as well, though.
I would come out, my weapon on my back. The ever-burning part is still burning, yes.
Sure.
Well met.
They, all of them, like, you say this, and they, like, again, there's like a couple dozen of them, they just, like, they turn hard your direction bodily so as to face you. Some of them, like, at an odd angle, so it's just that big fisheye look in your direction and just, hello, land dweller. Do you have your tribute?
What would you ask of tribute?
They don't say anything.
As I was unaware that I was supposed to bring one, but if you would allow me 1 second to prepare one.
Okay, they do so.
I would go back in. Trosk is not actually here.
Fast asleep.
Yeah, no, right? How common would sun rods be around here? I mean, to these people.
To those guys? With that knowledge nature check, one thing that Anru knows, because Anru, like, as a native of the Darklands, it's like looking for it almost as instinctual to you now. You come up with an ever-burning torch on, and they look at, like, the direction of the light, not necessarily you, but eventually you, indicating that they don't have dark vision. They live where, like, the Gulf of Shidao is pretty shallow. They live in areas where sunlight can and does illuminate the water. So, like, they're capable of seeing in darker times, but in true darkness, they're as blind as, like, a human is. So,
okay.
They're capable of making their own, but those are definitely useful tools for them.
Okay, so I would come out. I do actually have one ever-burning torch that is not my regular one, and 12 sun rods. So I would offer them the 12 sun rods, and then I would show them the ever-burning torch, dip it in the water, and shows that it does not burn and it does not extinguish underwater, and would offer that to them as well.
Okay, yeah, you do so. They take the sun rods pretty greedily, seeming to know what they are, and then you dip the torch in, and the torch, like, it stays lit, and they're, like, they get drawn to it really fast. Some of them, like, their bodies are, like, chest-ish up out of the water, and they lean forward and breaststroke over to it, and they look at it a little too close, cock their eye, like, get an eye, like, real close to it, and then take it and just, this is good! Thank you for tribute! And off they go.
And it also, before they leave, also, you may touch the flame. It does not burn. I'd reach out and actually palm the flaming part of it and then let go. Show them my hand.
All couple dozen of them as you do this. There's and they're like Akbar back as they have an understanding of what fire is, but obviously underwater they don't see it a lot. So it's for a couple of them. It's actually for a few of them. There's like almost like a mythological understanding of fire, not unlike Paizo's goblins, as if like this is some kind of magic god type thing. Some of them look at Anru as if, like, you are this divine thing that can touch the fire, and then one of the braver ones, it's a little bigger, and in lieu of a, like, spear made of bone and coral, it's more of, it looks not unlike an axe, with, like, the jaw of something not unlike a sea cat for the blade, and it touches the fire with its, like, it puts it in its mouth. All right.
You shouldn't do that.
Is an ever burning
Oh
torch?
no, it's never running torch. It doesn't burn.
So like,
It,
I mean, more so as in she's beating people to death with it.
I wasn't hitting anybody. No. It's not the one I've hit people with.
yeah, she had like 14.
Tarask knows this.
Tarask, make a knowledge nature check as you come out. By the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or if okay, yeah, you can identify. I mispronounced it when we were talking about him at the monastery because I can see the words bigger now. It looks like Lokatha, the humanoids that live in the Gulf of Shidao. And in the night, they've come upon the boat asking for tribute, and a bunch of sunrods and ever-burning torches was the tribute. Also, I give it a little more. These guys, though they're like, by and large, a Lokatha, especially to land dwellers, are generally pretty unsettling to look upon because it's essentially, it kind of looks like a really exacerbated like merman from He-Man. It's that kind of thing. Like literally, just take a spiny, gross, bony fish monster and just like on top of a humanoid body, and you have a Lokatha. They all range in color from like, well, it's in the light of the torch you can see the color from like a dark salmon to ochre. They're pretty gross to look upon, and it almost like you could probably, Tarask, thinking about it a little harder, can identify these as based on like their color and how kind of particularly uncivilized these seem. They are probably one of the less civilized of the Lokatha city-states that you can expect to pass through.
Well, very well. I observe them, kind of, I guess it's almost condescending, just kind of like a, these creatures amuse me sort of look.
Fair enough.
It's like he just watches, them like, this is nice.
All right. Back to the person who spoke up first. That I assume is the leader.
That's a fair assumption, yeah.
Yeah. May the light that does not extinguish always guide your path.
He nods and just, and may the other Lokatha tribes receive as much tribute as we did. And all the other ones, the noise is not like Admiral Akbar-esque, as it just as these weird fish monsters all like the amazing joke the big one just told, and they back down under the waves.
Well, that was agreeable enough.
And as you guys know from like talking in the monastery, there will be several other Lokathas that you guys will probably expect to pass at some point in the journey, assuming like the ship doesn't just blitz past them, and all of them are gonna want this kind of tribute. It's almost like it's not like if you don't do this, we will invade the land. It's not like that so much as these guys just are generally curious about the stuff that's made on the land, and it's like, whereas you guys on the surface will trade whatever for whatever, or not whatever for whatever, you trade like for value or for food or for the things you need. These guys will definitely like drop the metal fork into the sea and Ariel freaks out. It's the same idea.
Okay.
They probably will never, like, the sunrod makes light when do this, but they might not identify as sunrod as much as just light. Who's a mutsets?
Looking to Tarask, how long does it take you to make sunrods?
How long would it take me to make some sunrods?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's take a looky-loo. Sunrod. I imagine it's an alchemical creation. Assuming they're not super expensive, you can probably churn them out pretty quick.
Oh no, there's only one problem with this.
What?
I only get a plus 12 to making normal alchemical items, not a plus 16.
Oh no! Oh, that's bad! Also, they cost like 2 gold. You can churn these out about as fast as you're churning out potions.
Okay, here, without the 4, unfortunately. Ah!
Well, you've got a hero point.
Hero point it. I don't want to burn the boat down.
Well, okay, so the day dawns, and as day dawns, the Nagaji appears, picks up the thing that it seems to be using to move the boat, and spins it, and you guys pick up, but you guys are going considerably slower this time, and it's not long, maybe like an hour or two before you guys do pass. On top of a little island, there's a little shrine with several little pockets in it. There are bits of platinum like jammed in there, as well as different kinds of oh my god, actually you guys see, I didn't mean to do this, this is hilarious, the bottommost plinth, this has nothing to do with the crit, we'll get to the crit in a second, I just realized I ran into something that's hilarious, has several little tubers with like arranged in a little like a little basket, and you guys assume that this is also tribute to the Lokatha who don't have the access to that kind of food, dare I say it, under the sea. But alongside it also there are several like carrots and cabbages, as well as mushrooms of all shapes and sizes, arranged as offering. And as you guys come upon this, Tarask is throwing together these sun rods because they're obviously a super good gift for these guys. And the first one, like, you almost, like, as you're putting it together, you go to put the cap on, and you, like, that's when one of your spasms happens, and you spaz forward a little, and it leans forward a little too far, and the liquid begins to pour out onto the like the room you're in inside this house. You're able to stopper it, and this is around the time that you realize that this particular sun rod that you've created is much more powerful than the average sun rod is. You think it might function like on a permanent basis.
Oh,
So it's an ever-burning torch
Pretty
that you
much.
just made.
Yeah.
oh, that's the second one. I'm gonna mark it down in additional as an ever-burning sun rod.
Yeah.
Because screw it, it's special.
It is special. And it's also, it's so special that, like, it doesn't burn for 6 hours. It burns forever, and these guys are pretty enamored with those.
Well,
The ship comes to a stop
I mean,
at the
I'll give
first.
them the ones I made that are just normal. I want to keep the forever burning one for me. That might be useful.
Sure. Okay. So there's this shrine has
Receipts to never use it.
yeah, right.
Looking to Tarask, by the way, you wouldn't happen to have continual flame the spell, would you?
Not at the moment. That might be something else I can find out.
Considering the ever-burning torches are just a bit of ruby dust and the spell.
That is accurate. Anywho, the shrine has it doesn't look not like a quiver hanging alongside, and well and truly there are some arrows stuck in it, as well as more like anything oblong that wouldn't go with the food, and that's where the sun rods go. Nothing comes out, nothing like jumps out as if to strike at you or anything, but the Nagaji had stopped the boat just short. And then after the gift is assigned, that's when, again, the Nagaji slowly but surely picks up the ship again as you guys make your way down the Gulf of Shidao. There are... let me get a D8 from Ross. Yeah. Let's see how many more of these shrines dot your journey today. Oh, good. Oh, good. You've rolled max. I'm so proud of you. So it's a total of 8 that you guys are going to pass. That each one of these doesn't necessarily demand tribute, as you guys would know, but it's well advised that you pay for the honor of traveling over top of a nation. As if to say, 8 toll booths. What you guys put in is up to you.
Darn it.
But like without paying, significant risk can fall upon you. Also, you guys are well marked, though the Logothot might not necessarily be like super on to the monastery, and they might not like the call for you guys, short of one of you rolling up a Cecilia, and we would have just figured that out now, like, oh hey, look at that. But short of something like that, there's not a lot of call for you guys to come down into the waves. By and large, these guys can defend themselves. But you are representing
Well,
the
I
monastery.
imagine they probably can defend themselves in this area better than we could do anything for them, since this is their natural terrain.
That's very true. You guys know that these guys have lived in Shidao for basically ever. All of the little like caves and nooks and crannies and the like that would certainly exist down there, they would know like the back of their hands. And although on the surface they are really like, they walk super awkward. Their feet are essentially giant flippers. So as they walk, there's like that wet smacking.
Ew.
And in addition,
How much gold do we have?
That's a good question.
I still have 200 something on me.
200. And how many more tolls do we have to go through?
There will be a total of 8.
8. Total of 8, and we've already been through 2.
Yeah. So like there are 8 additional on top of the 2 you've already seen, for a total of 10. As you guys are basically like crossing a nation in a day with how fast you're moving. One might say you're on a boat and it's going fast.
Indeed.
Are we rolling on the river?
Oh, that one was a little better. More like the Gulf, but yeah.
About to say, we did not actually, prepare tolls.
Now would be the time. They certainly would take money. It's not necessarily, based on what you've seen from that first one, it's not, though their money was there, it's not really what they're like trying to get out of people. Again, the order of the day is more like just trading things they haven't seen.
Ooh, well, that might be bad, but hey, it could also be funny.
Sweet.
You want to just leave them? I do have something I could leave them. I could just leave them, we could just leave them like a bottle of Alchemist's Fire or something like that, since they're interested in that sort of stuff.
Does Alchemist's Fire burn underwater?
That's a good. I want to say yeah, because it's oil, right? So it would
Yeah.
It would maybe not necessarily burn as like it would when exposed to air, but it would hurt still.
Well, the reason I asked is because it could be kind of like magnesium. You know how it flares go underwater.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Okay, let's I forget you have the power of science. I also really like GMing for people that are smarter than me, because oftentimes I won't think of this. Alchemist's fires are... It's a mix of several volatile liquids that ignite when exposed to air. So I guess nothing happens when you... Well, it probably at least heats the water.
Well, that means it oxidizes, and water contains oxygen. If water can oxidize and rust things, then why not air? I mean,
Yeah, it makes sense. It's the like it would extinguish a fire, but that water would be hot for a couple of seconds, and it would certainly scald you. Yeah, you could definitely do that. Though there's one at each shrine.
So basically a liquid that boils the water around it for a few rounds.
Yeah, more or less.
I have a few of those too.
Okay.
I have 9 of those on me.
I have 3, and we can leave them notes saying that it boils the water around them when shattered. Rather.
And we've already gone to 2, so that means we only need 6.
There's 8 more throughout the day. There will be a total of 10.
Oh, okay. Then I'll just
We
take
have
7
9
off of
then.
mine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just take 7 off of mine. You could take 1 off of yours, Kiki, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, I'll just pass you my other 2 as well. So just take 3 off mine. I don't technically need them.
Yeah. You guys are kind
I
of...
have better things to do with my standard actions.
That you do, that you do. I was going to say, you've kind of leveled a little past them at this point. Okay. You leave the stuff behind. There's... Good.
Actually, would smoke sticks work underwater? Smoke sticks.
These are the questions we ask ourselves.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Don't apologize. It's like, these are important questions.
It's questions that I ask because reasons. You need to know these things.
Yeah, there might be like a wereshark stalking you right now, and I'm trying to dig out his stats in the SRD. No, not quite that crazy. Maybe if we play like Skull and Shackles together one day. Or I
still am down for Kingmaker after playing the darn CRPG so much.
It would be fun. We'll see what happens when we get to the 3D.
It works as the fog cloud spell, so water would not be good for it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it would just not function, huh?
Nope.
Okay, fair enough. So you guys do...
Plus, I don't really want to get rid of these. They are 20 gold apiece.
Fair. You guys do leave these little gifts and baubles and things. You don't see any more of the Locathah. Sometimes... And it's kind of a wonder that now that like you guys stop and think about it and the ship moves, that Anru and Tarask weren't able to smell the Locathah. Underwater, their scent isn't that noticeable.
Why do you keep saying my real name? It's Tarask, for Pete's sake.
Oh, fine. It's that. Tarask and Anru. This whole game has been mispronunciations.
Don't you get it? He's a tiny Tarasque.
Fair enough. And it dawns on you guys that like you definitely should have been able to smell the Locathah while you were exposed to them on the surface, because they do, though they hate being called on it, they reek of rotting fish. But the ones you ran into didn't, so you imagine they might have done something about their smell, as if like tribal hunters, if you will. You smell bits of the Locathah on these shrines, and you see other aquatic things as well as the ship moves through, in addition to more and more traders on bigger boats even now as you've gone fully into the Gulf of Shidao. Your ship is able to very pretty effortlessly like bob and weave around them with a lot more mobility than this little thing should have. Fishermen continue to pay their respects, foreigners continue to look oddly upon you. Occasionally, like, a humanoid head will breach the surface of the water, see you, look at you as you pass by, back down it goes.
We should probably remember on the way back just to bring a bunch of ever-burning torches.
Yeah. Or more alchemist fire.
Well, I kind of feel bad that I left a ever-burning torch for the first group, but did not have one to give to the rest.
That's fair. These guys are basically, like, you would know that the Locathah and the Tritons and the Merfolk and stuff that live in this region are usually pretty peaceable with one another. Frankly, there's scarier things in the water than they are, and oftentimes they'll need to band together if, like say, a dragon turtle might make its way into the Gulf, and then they all go together to, like, run it off, or even worse things. Because spooky things exist, dare I say it twice. Under the sea.
The first ones we came across could be just an excuse because they were closest to the monastery.
Yeah.
They are technically our neighbors.
That they are. You guys don't talk about them a whole lot, because again, mostly they keep to themselves. Being, like, not backwards necessarily, but, like, the tech level is considerably lower under the water. But as the Gulf of Shidao... as the Gulf is considerably wider than that canal was, so the ship is able to reach just impressive speeds as it books its way south. And it's... As night falls, you guys begin to swing around into what will be getting into Naikang Bay through Huangat and Zahoy. There's another little pass. and you would end up eventually reaching Tongma sometime like tomorrow morning. As you do so, make me a perception check.
Okay. I shall make me my perception check.
Well said.
Huh! Rolled really well.
That you did. But that Farron, though.
It's too bright out. It's just too bright.
The setting sun reflecting off the water back in Anru's eyes doesn't feel the best, and she like is shielding her face from all of the brightness. But Tarask and Farron, you both see from the surface of the water several. They kind of look like stone pyramids is a good way to describe it as they breach the surface of the water. They're probably, frankly, about the size of Tarask himself. As they just kind of like out of the water, not far from the ship, before sinking back down. As they do so, there's a considerable splash as a long and large orange tail, which has also these similar spikes, but not as dark and considerably smaller, comes out of the water and splashes. All three of you are pretty drenched. The Nagaji is as well, but it continues to not care. Actually, no, that's not true. The Nagaji is drenched, and as it's drenched, it puts the ship to a halt again. It looks up at the sky for a second, and then turns and looks at both of you. It says nothing, it does nothing.
I just step out, kind of just checking on the sky. Do I need to roll like a nature to see what's going on with the weather?
You can, yeah. It's not a very high DC. It's presently pretty nice out. Pretty balmy. It might rain tonight, maybe. Possibly, probably not, though.
I'm gonna roll Arcana to see if I know of anything for whether or not this guy wants something specific for us.
Okay,
Probably not.
It's you can, with the fact that you detect that Naginata is magical, you get the feeling that like the fact that you were thrown on this boat really, really fast means that a lot of the story wasn't told to you flat out. It was just like, go to Tongma, get fixed, figure out what's happening, come back. The creature, or rather, like, it's not quite an unseen servant, not quite a true ghost that's piloting this ship, is waiting for you guys, when it stops and looks at you, waiting for you guys to tell it what to do. And it seems perhaps programmed, perhaps like the Nagaji are known to be a very like honor-bound people, to stop when stimuli happens outside the boat that might cause like you guys to come to harm. And since this boat is the property of the monastery, it's, you guys roll together, it's kind of like, I won't say the hyperbolic training boat, but it's the idea. This ship will stop. This ship will stop anytime you could fight a thing that, like, we're leveling at checkpoints, not experience, but there's certainly things you could do with stuff that you would find in the water, like boons you can get other than experience from killing things. And actually, I had to go back and look at that knowledge nature. Tarask is able to identify a dragon turtle has come up to the ship. It's not attacking yet. This may mean it is not hungry. This may mean a myriad of things. It's hard to say. But as you guys are like piecing this all together,
would you share the information?
Oh yeah.
As you guys are piecing it together, those pyramids appear on the other side of the boat.
I'm gonna try to see for what information I know about a dragon turtle.
All right, sure. It's pretty good. It beats the CR. Dragon turtles, to be honest, they probably also exist in the Darklands as well, as old as these things are. Though, of course, you'd have to go farther down, like to the site, the sea, to run into them. They are amongst the biggest threats to sailors. They're Frequently, offerings of gold and magic are made for safe passage through a dragon turtle's territory. Though, like, frankly, if this was a dragon turtle's territory, you think somebody might have said something. There might have been a buoy. Just warning, have more gold. You're done with Lokathaws. It's a turtle now. They, by and large, a dragon turtle, much like, as in like a true dragon will have its hoard, a dragon turtle will grow to appreciate and like subsist off of gifts that it's given, and when it's ignored, it can often, because it is sentient, it can often get pretty angry. They're not necessarily aggressive per se. The fact that it's just kind of like going under the ship and above the ship right now, kind of like it's probably waiting on stimuli from you. But it's certainly like this thing has the capability, though it's unclear what will happen to the Nagaji. Like this thing has the capability to tip over the boat pretty easily and throw you guys in the water. In addition, dragons classically, like when we think dragons in Galarian, we think like the color tells us what might come out of its mouth and a breath weapon. These guys are known to just like, sometimes this is how they cook their food, just giant breath of steam, which could pretty easily cover most of the ship.
Are they necessarily evil?
No, they're not. They're not. More like the closer analogy, it is in fact a true dragon, but the closer analogy is probably more like a big carnivorous turtle.
So, unlike a real dragon, they wouldn't, say, shapeshift into a human and do that kind of thing?
Yeah, they're not usually known for a lot of magical prowess.
Bit of trivia here. The god of martial arts is actually often shown as a dragon turtle.
No, nice. Like on Galarian or like here on planet Earth?
No, in actual here in planet Earth.
Huh.
And that's actually also what Bowser is supposed to be.
That makes sense. I could see Bowser being a dragon
That makes
turtle.
a lot of sense.
Yeah. Nice. Well, this definitely isn't Bowser. He's not going to take your women and run away. And I guess now there's a Peach Bowser hybrid. I don't know what Mario's are.
Bowsette.
I have a Switch.
Apparently we're hipper than Tommy.
Man, I'm 27 years old. I was hip a long time ago. Now I just play nerd games.
You're only 27.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You learn, like, I'm kind of in that awkward period as a Pathfinder between, like, a lot of my players, like you, Ross, are considerably younger than me, like, so's Levi. And then on the other side of that, there's, like, the grognards who have been playing for a million years and are in their, like, 30s, 40s, and then here I am, awkwardly in the middle at 27. I imagine Tiki's about my age. If I had to hazard.
No. No, I'm 35.
Oh, stop! Grognard. Found him.
Jeez.
Anywho.
No hesitation. Just, yep, Grognard.
It's not a bad... It's a term of endearment. You've been at it for so long. It's like how the Diablo 3 barbarian is an old man now. He's certainly the most powerful.
I can't really say I'm that experienced because I did not actually play during 2nd edition, even though I owned one of the original sets.
Nice.
But I did play during the original printing of 3rd edition.
Nice. So. Back when the art was bad.
I touched 5th edition and 4th edition. 4th edition is actually the first edition I ever touched.
Poo.
I was never able to play it.
Poo. Kane likes 4th edition quite a bit. I've never played. I can't really, I can't weigh in on it because I've never got with it. But speaking of playing...
Most of the people... Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the people I played with, they skipped 4th edition, so I did too. I never really gave it a chance.
That's fair.
As somebody that had read the books and whatnot, I can say this much. 4th edition is very much the most combat-focused of all of the editions.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But you did say the things are intelligent, correct?
Yeah, it's intelligent. It probably, this thing... It may not necessarily speak Tien. It may speak Taldan instead, but it definitely speaks...
I speak Draconic.
Then it would definitely understand you.
I speak Draconic? Well, I have
Yeah.
truth speak, so you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have a familiar
Oh,
that can talk to all the things.
I also have draconic, so
Nice. It's a
over
good
the
language.
edge to the dragon turtle. Do you wish tribute? Is that why you stop us?
The head of the dragon turtle bursts forth out of the water, and you guys can both see that the creature is pretty beat up looking, as if it just tangled with a considerably bigger dragon turtle, and it's intelligent. It's smarter than the average human fighter. So it's not like necessarily it's not like turned into feral animal at this point, but it's not like it's pretty hostile as it breaks the waves, and it doesn't stop to speak in Draconic so much as it just like roars at Anru as Anru leans down to talk to it. The Nagaji, as Anru's doing this, the Nagaji looks at Tarask now and just like appears to wait instructions.
Does it look like it's like the reason it's being so aggressive is because of its injuries?
It's possible.
I'm just gonna
It might just like to pick fights a bunch.
I'm just gonna reach into my pouch and pull out the potion of cure moderate wounds at 5th level, and just walk over and just kind of offer it to the creature.
Okay.
This should help with your wounds, I say in draconic.
Alrighty. So you move over to the thing, and the Nagaji is going to interpret this as you don't want to run from it, you want to fight it. So the Nagaji sits down. You give it the potion, or rather, as you move forward, and this is about the time that it starts to roar and burst forth. Initiative.
Oh, we're fighting a dragon turtle. Okay, that's.
I keep looking at like my perception now to roll for initiative. Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna hero point that.
Fair. 17, 18. You guys don't change that much. 17 from Anru, 18 from Urkjaw. Whereas my sea cat, which is a dragon turtle, our secret, has a natural 1. What can do? I'll say both of you guys get a surprise round. It moves forward, and it's like the audacity of Tarask. Like, do you need a potion? This might help your wounds. It like devour in your direction long enough to where both of you have a surprise round.
Just pop mage armor.
Sure. That's a good surprise round. That's well done.
My move action is to pull Kukris.
Sure.
And that one.
Okay, so the Kukri natural 1 falls into the water. The 15.
Dude, I just got that one.
Yeah, I know.
You're gonna disarm me that into the water.
Hey, you
got it.
You got a double scythe. It's much cooler than Kukri's.
But I like the Kukri.
Kukri's a good weapon. You definitely like. The first Kukri hits this thing, but its carapace is just that tough. It bounces off harmlessly. At the end of the round, you guys, next to you, the Nagaji has appeared again, and it just kind of.
Wait a minute! You said this is a surprise round. I don't even get the second attack.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So it did not fumble.
Fine, you didn't fumble. Fine. The Nagaji continues to wait for instructions. Like, it sat down, and then you guys hit, and it's bad, and then the Nagaji moves over, looks at you two. Like, kind of from behind. You can feel its presence. Its shadow, it doesn't have a shadow, it's a ghost, but its shadow-like thing falls over you.
Looking to the Nagashi at the end of my action, if you think it's going to capsize us, leave.
Okay. It nods. And now we go to real initiative, Tarask. You, rat. You're first.
Shield.
Duly noted. Is there a move action?
Back up.
Alright, fair. I was flat-footed for both of those castings. So, Honor, what you got?
Hold on one sec. I've lost my sheet for a sec.
I should have cast it at Major Armor on Anru, but at this point, Duresk is just like, okay, she
Oh,
can just punch everything to death. I don't.
You need it more than me right now.
That's fair.
My Kukris are still the ones that are out. They
Sure.
have the better crit range. So
That they do.
free action for haste.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Nice!
all right, each one of all right, the 2 crits there also are getting additional damage.
Jesus Christ. So one of the Kukris now does go in the water with that final natural one, but that's the 29 hits, the 30 hits, the 31 certainly confirms. In a furious rage, Anru, full of Kukris, goes a spinning into this creature, and it's like at this point you're basically just cutting at the head that's like leaning up. Well, not leaning, kind of like stretching out of its body to bite you for a grand total of. Do we have the multiplication correct?
What?
On the doubler. I know when you rolled the scythe, it was you didn't have the multiplier.
It's just time twos.
Okay, fair enough.
It's just time twos.
Understood. Making sure I don't got no DR that I don't know about. I've never used a dragon turtle or a sea cat or a Lokatha before. This has been a good session for me. I've kind of resolved lately to I want
anybody that is curious that is watching as to why my damage is so high with Kukris, the velocity damage of an Accelerus makes it D10s, not D4s.
Oh yeah, that's fair. But I'd resolved to like I want to use monsters I've never used before, so that's where we're at here, and it's definitely like a slap, and then like the third slap hits its blood and just off into the water. I have a calculator for his hit points because he has more than usual. Well, not more than usual, but a lot.
All right.
And I don't want to shortchange
33
it.
plus 15, 43, so 48.
Gotcha. I'm still punching in my hit dice plus... Oh, plus... You did 48 damage.
Yes.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, that's literally... Now I just have to do 12 times 12. That's all the extra from his con. And now... This provokes an attack of opportunity. I'm about 90% sure... no, it doesn't. Okay, so... Yeah, no, it doesn't. The turtle, like, you cut into and it roars back, and as it does so, it pushes into the ship and rolls a CMB. It is going to try to capsize the thing versus a number that I have. So it's like, it definitely slams the ship really hard. As that happens, the Nagaji pulses with otherworldly energy, and like the boat starts to go this way. It gets probably like 20 degrees over before it rights itself, but the force is still there. So rather than this, what happens is it goes over and then pushes back and lifts off the water and then rights itself a couple of feet back. Will both of you make reflex saves?
Uh-oh.
It's a very wild roller coaster ride.
Wow. Aww.
Oh,
I don't presume a 14 saves?
It does not. Farron's good. Farron has a fly speed. Farron can catch himself. Anru's fine. Anru's able to keep her balance and kind of just like run with the ship as it moves. Tarask does end up prone though, as the ship like kicks forward, back, and down. The dragon turtle's head rises again, just kind of like off the other side of the ship, giving you line of effect to it, and you're on. That's probably the best natural one that I've ever given. Or not natural one, but the best fail I've ever given someone. You're prone against the thing, you being the caster.
Very well. So it's my turn?
Yep, you're up.
Can I just stand up, or will that provoke?
What's my reach? It won't provoke.
Alright, I stand up first.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna pop 3 power points on a energy ray.
Okay. Understood. I don't think I have spell resistance. Yeah, I'm a sad dragon.
Yep.
So what happens? Is it a touch attack?
No, it's a ranged. It's a ranged touch attack.
Ranged touch. Okay, fair enough. Make that roll.
Will do, and also it is 3d6.
Nice.
damage. So that's a 24 to hit, and I need to roll.
You rolled it.
So that has
It's in
set
there.
up 2d6,
Oh, I see. This
and I
one.
need to roll another d6 plus 1.
Okay.
Because I put 3 power points into it instead of 2.
Understood. Okay. What kind of this is?
Cold.
Nice.
Oh, this is cold. That's cold damage.
Okay. That seems to affect it. It's not hard to hit this thing. It's real big. Like, Tarask could probably walk into the creature's mouth and exist comfortably, at least until, like, am I right? But, like, you fit there. And so it's super easy a target for you to just, like, ping into. It doesn't, like, it's not super phased by the sudden rush of owies. Oh, what am I, 12? But, I mean, that's basically what happens. It's basically enough for it to turn its attention towards you. It will take a move action. No, well, that's actually.
On.
Oh, it's your turn. It's yours. Sorry, I forgot. The initiative moved a little bit. Go ahead. You're up. I use my hero point.
Okay.
I'd like to act out of turn. I'm a special dragon turtle.
Yeah, if it's a dragon turtle hero, we have issues.
It has barbarian levels.
Oh crap, baskets. Let me guess. Next, we're gonna fall off a cliff. One of the two of us is gonna fall off a cliff and be useless for the rest of the battle.
Yeah.
Also, I critted on it last turn, so I still get my my extra damage.
You did.
If it hits any.
So
how many hit?
I think all of the 14 doesn't. And since you can flurry with this, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so you don't. That's the one that went in the water is fine. You're just kind of 1, 2, 3. The 14 doesn't, like, it hits the bit of the carapace as it turns in, but everyone else does connect. So 29
That's
plus
40
11.
damage.
Nice. Nice. I don't feel bad about making this encounter happen now. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. And yeah, I can. Here's the thing: the special part about flurry is it doesn't care what you hit them with, so you're not stuck with main hand off hand.
Yeah.
So if I flurry with the same kukri, I can still get all 3 hits.
That you can. Yeah. It's super good. So good, in fact, that as you it kind of rolls away a little from the big ray of frost, more or less, that collides with it, and then it's just 1, 2. The third one hits that, like, frostbitten patch, just whip over, and then it turns, and its jaw opens, and its head extends out, and the deck of the ship is covered in steam. Hero, fortunately, is inside. He ran away inside the boat where he is safe. But would you two make reflex saves for me, please?
Both of us again?
Yep, the whole deck of the ship. It hits the Nagaji as well, but the Nagaji isn't super affected.
18?
Farron has to make this too.
I thought Farron, since he has a fly speed, didn't need to worry about it.
This is the breath weapon.
Oh. Oh, crap baskets. Okay. Well, I would have had Farron just fly straight up.
Okay. Yeah, let it go this once. I will be kind.
All right, I'm making sure that I don't have any maneuvers that'll work with this.
That's fair.
Crap.
New classes are fun. That's why we gotta, like, do the scaling CR random encounters, because we gotta put the Path of War class through its paces. See what's what here.
Oh, very much so.
You guys have both used your hero points. I guess I can go ahead and put my...
All right, and you said reflex save?
Yes, sir. Reflex for half. Well, both of you fail. Tarask actually, like, crazily enough, almost gets there. He gets up and fires, and then here comes the thing.
I do have evasion. I don't know if that does anything.
It's improved evasion that we want on the failure.
Okay, so yeah, I just have regular.
So Tarask, like, throws himself back down and almost dodges the steam, whereas Onru's basically just right on as the steam bursts forward. 38 fire damage.
I'm at 1 hit point.
Nice.
I am down.
Okay.
Because... yeah.
Does it kill you?
-11.
Ooh, what's your con score?
16.
Okay, well yeah, I forgot your con was super good. Okay, so then at the end of its turn, the Nagaji looks at Onru. It continues to await orders.
Leave now.
Okay, it does so. It takes off. It's able to move much faster than the dragon turtle could ever hope to keep up with. It just kind of like slams down its or staff naginata magic item and boom, off it goes. There's quite a bit of a wave.
He got bull rushed by a boat.
Yeah. It appears unaffected. So, we're out of combat, but I'm going to keep it on initiative for long enough for Tarask to get a potion. First, Tarask needs to roll a constitution check at a minus, whatever his minus is, to try to
11.
stabilize. So, D20, your con's 16, so D20 minus 8, DC 10, rolling to stabilize.
9.
And then you go to minus 12. Oh, that's close. So then Onru is able to go administer a potion. And just barely pulls him out of the fire.
I would keep pouring them down his throat until he is back up and
Sure.
standing.
Okay.
I don't know which ones are which. I do not know how he marks things. So
I mark them very clearly.
okay. I would be using the smaller ones until you wake up, so you can decide what to do.
Okay. So then,
Right.
I believe I believe the first one actually gets you up into positive, doesn't it?
It takes 2 to get me to 0.
which is you can function at 0.
3.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'd still do the third one anyway, and then he can do whatever after.
Sure.
4.
I will say that was pretty well fought. Tarask almost passed the save. The DC was 20. You had it at like just about half health from 2 attacks.
Correction, Tiki had it at almost 2 health.
Hey, you helped. You did the right thing. You buffed first. I make that mistake all the time when I play casters. I get greedy and I die for it.
I wouldn't exactly say I did the right thing. I didn't buff myself. I didn't use that bull strength or something.
You
Or
made your armored and you
whatever.
shielded. Your AC was +8, which is super relevant right now. Well, not right now. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It attempts to follow you guys for a little while, but its swim speed is, while it has a decent swim speed, it can't keep up with how fast the boat's moving. The Nagaji, like as it takes off, it kind of piccolos, I guess is the best analogy I can think of. It looks out over the sea, marginally disappointed, but not enough to say anything.
Looking at the Nagaji, if we meet it on the way back, we will defeat it.
It nods. Okay, another day passes.
A day of sleep.
Yeah,
or
you guys
no?
are probably just down, just bad. And the boat moves
Yeah,
fast.
if we get actual rest in, I think it's con mod is how much you get healing.
times your
Con
level.
times your level.
Oh, times your level. Okay, so con mod 3 times level. So 3 times 3 is 9.
So 9 hit
I
points.
would be, I'd be at 10.
Fair enough. And
I might actually want to take a couple of those potions too.
it's a thought.
Yeah, probably 2.
2 of the cure light wounds.
Yeah. So 2d8 plus 3, or 6 rather.
Yeah.
Okay. So the night passes pretty uneventfully. Nothing attacks the ship, and since you guys are just out, the ship isn't going to stop when a threat appears for you guys to train at. Though certainly they probably exist. At this point, it'd be more like as you're passing through where Huangat and Zahoy meet, and through another I can't even think of the word, another canal. At the top of the next day, you guys do reach, not the destination. You don't reach Rampardon yet, because that doesn't sit on the little like lake that's there. There's a little bit of trekking that you guys will have to do before you get there at the foot of the mountains there. That walk will take you I'm gonna butcher that word so hard, but I'll try it. Make a knowledge local check if you have it. Actually, you guys are a little farther from home now.
Mm-mm. I got nature and arcana, that's all.
Okay.
And history.
So as you guys pull up, the dragon turtle reappears. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna do that. It's tempting. That natural one is a secret roll that will help us later, but it's enough that you guys know. You guys know that most of the interior of Tangma, which is the country you guys are ending up in, is dominated by what's known as the Sikhu rainforest, which is it's home to rare avian life, rare flowers, rare spices, and other substances that are pretty greedily sought after by alchemists and healers and everything in between. Several are known to travel the region via a very extensive network of rivers and ancient aqueducts and canals, but the waterways pierce pretty much an untamed wild. I just tripped around words. Basically, an untamed wilderness. I don't know what that craft alchemy check's for, but I'll get to it in a second. I'll get to that survival check also in a second.
Yeah, I realized, but
you hear untamed
they were
wilderness
for
click.
this information.
That's fair. Outside of the capitals of the region, outside of where the school is, settlements tend to be basically it's the same idea as what you guys know back home, just little hamlets along these watery highways through the rainforest. These usually owe fealty to a local lord, responsible for collecting taxes, sometimes tributes, other times depending on who it might be, right? But most of the rainforest is pretty wild and unsettled, known to hide crumbling temples, as well as other forbidding monsters and things. And now, the craft alchemy check is for.
The craft alchemy check and survival checks are 2 rolls. First to recognize and locate materials for alchemy.
Okay, fair enough. You guys as we get where we're going here, the boat comes to a stop, and there are canals that could take you all the way to Rampersad, which is where I can't even think of where the school is, but it's a matter of what you guys want to do. You get the feeling as the Nagashi looks at you, you can go through the waterways and risk local lords that might want steeper taxes or worse from you guys, or you could hoof it through the rainforest. You get the feeling the boat is probably going to be fine based on how fast it can move and how magical it clearly is. Each one of these has its own pitfalls. Each one of these has its own benefits. For example, the craft alchemy and the survival would come from that, moving through the rainforest, picking flowers and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the decision is up to you guys.
In the area that we're in, knowing that these are unclaimed particular lands,
mm-hmm.
Unless Tarask says otherwise, we probably want to go through the rainforest so we can recoup materials and gold value of being able to make his potions, seeing as we're used so many of them.
We did.
Fair enough. Also, if we... it's gonna make a Kingmaker joke, but just like my barony, it fell apart.
Oh, sad. Does it get hard without spoilers? Because I'm as far in as you guys have seen on Twitch, so I have no idea. But does it get super hard after you get a barony and stuff?
Yeah, it increases, but it's not just a cliff.
Yeah, fair. Okay. Well, soon I will see. Okay, so you guys want to hike through the rainforest. The boat comes to a stop in a little sandy little beach. It extends the ramp, and as you two and Hiro make your way down, the Nagaji takes its weapon and it throws it javelin style onto the beach. And as it lands, the boat kind of collapses on itself, folding over and over and over again until eventually it ends up about the size of think about the size of my phone, easy enough that you guys could jam it in your pocket.
It's a collapsible boat.
More or
That
less
is awesome.
collapsible mega awesome boat, and also the Nagaji's spirit goes into its Naginata again, like when you rest, and the Naginata shrinks to like the size of like a pencil. So you can conveniently store it in a mechanical sense. It's a collapsible, very powerful boat, though its ability to move is from its collapsible, very powerful spirit that is bound to it. And now we're going hiking through the jungle. Okay, cool. I'm real tempted. Nah, we started super late. Where are we at on time? We're at 2:57. Yeah, okay. Because I can make a. We've gone to a place where one of my favorite like make a hex grid, 1 square is 1 hour of travel. You'll find things kind of map comes into play. So I think this is where we're gonna call it.
I don't have anything to do.
Fair.
I don't have anything to do. Teres doesn't have. I don't think you have anything to do you?
For what?
Like last minute checks and things.
Well, no, I was saying if you wanted to continue, because I mean we did not actually give them anything last week because you were on vacation.
That is true, but also like I gotta like get to bed and stuff because I gotta get up and work in the morning.
Same. I also got classes tomorrow morning.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
All right.
Well, in that case,
I was thinking this is probably about where the best place to let off would be.
yeah, I was gonna make sure it ran a full 3 hours because we started super late because Fantasy Grounds had snafu. I didn't realize how much I'd have to mess with my router to get Fantasy Grounds to function. I guess I get a Chris, if you're watching, I need help. I don't know how anything works. Help me, please. But also, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back next week with trekking through the jungles. And for the record, you guys would have gotten maybe not CR9's treasure hoard, but maybe like CR67, which is much higher than you guys are worth of gold and loot and things had you been able to take down the dragon turtle. And you got close. A couple more rounds and it was going to be super ouchied. But that is a different story. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. If you're watching on Twitch, remember, it's Black Dragon Gaming for all your Pathfinder 1st, 2nd, and Kingmaker needs. We'll see you next time. Say bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.